What is good, world? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again, joined by the pettiest man alive in the building, Mr. P.kidd, here bright and early with us, man. How you guys feeling today? It is Tuesday, February 1st. We all the way through January already. We made, you know what? First January without anything too traumatic going down in a while. You know what I'm saying? We lost a couple of icons, but we lost them to normal stuff.
Yeah,
So,
natural cause.
hey, listen, that to me, that's that's tally one, because we ain't had many Januaries the last couple of years where where nothing went down that was crazy. So we appreciate y'all for pulling up and rocking with us early. P.kidd out here dropping gems, don't even know it. Hold on. Good Lord. But
Oh,
we got a lot to get into today, man. Reacted to the Bears press conference yesterday. Did it build confidence in you? Did it build confidence in you as a Bears fan hearing Matt Eberflus come out and give you the hits campaign? You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna be breaking this down as, the hits campaign. When he drops the acronyms, I'm just like, just please God win. Just please God. And then Vikings flying out Harbaugh like an Instagram model, getting him in there for an interview. Washington looking to get in big with the big QB names. Washington, we'll see what happens with that. And then we're gonna be breaking down which coaching hire is gonna work out the quickest, because a lot of these teams have made their decision on their head coach, and now they've got to start building out these teams. And of course, our Bulls are back in first, baby. Can't go wrong there. Didn't even do anything. Where's Ringo when you need him? Trade deadline to break down who's going to be moved, and just looking at a little bit of how the Bulls are playing, how they're going to be going through this it's a very up and down when it comes to strength of schedule stretch here for them. So we'll be breaking that down as well. All that and more, man. Y'all know y'all going to catch some craziness on this show, man. But let's get into it, man. First things first, man. Mr. Kidd, how you feeling this morning, man?
Feeling great. How about yourself?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I'm living the dream out here, you know what I'm saying? Waking up every morning, talking sports. We got ZJ the rapper in the building.
ZJ the rapper.
ZJ.
CJ.
Never.
That's a unique one.
You know what? I don't think I've ever heard of ZJ.
Never heard of ZJ.
I've heard DJ, CJ, BJ, TJ.
Never a ZJ.
Never a ZJ. That's the new one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, shout out to you in the morning, man. We got Oscar in the building. Said he's listening over here. By the way, if you can't watch the show, we don't want y'all to drive off the road. We don't want y'all to be trying to watch YouTube, although I've done it before, while driving, man. So if you can't sit here and you don't have the YouTube Premium, or you just can't actually watch it, you can also download the Contender app and listen to us over there as well. The Contender, where you get nonstop sports talk while you're on the clock. Appreciate the fine folks over at the Contender for showing that support, man. Yeah, man. Yesterday was a big day in the Chicago Bears circles. Anyway, they introduced Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. Oh, it's such a weird name, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I love seeing you struggle saying it.
How do you say it? I thought that's how you say it.
I just like hearing you struggle saying it. That's all I gotta say.
Struggling. It's just me being goofy. Well, I'm like, wait, am I saying it wrong here? Like, what do you have? The original
do your thing, baby. Do your thing.
We got Ryan. We got them introduced to the media yesterday. They dropped a bunch of the keywords that pretty much triggered every Bears fan as a whole. We definitely got the why. We want to teach them the why. Very different from figuring out the why. So what Matt is saying is he already knows what the why is. We got to teach it to them. So we're going to be teaching them the why. We also got a collaboration yesterday, and we got one more yesterday. What other buzzword from the Bears did we get yesterday? Which is
here's the best one. Take back the Northing, never give it back.
Oh, that's my favorite one. That's a good one. That has nothing to do with Matt Nagy, because we never heard that from them. They were more so trying to take back the locker room.
Here's
But
here's my biggest question from that whole thing, because you did it. You're up there for 2 hours. You were going through it. How did it really feel in the moment? Did it feel as if it was forced? Did it feel as if there was a try hard, or did you genuinely feel like these individuals were like, hey, no, this is a good organization if we put the right things in place? How did you feel?
um, here's the thing, right? For me, I'm that person that if it feels different from what was already bad, it can't be worse. so,
Oh, it could be worse. We could
so
hire all
I,
these people
I
and still
listen.
suck.
Hey, listen. You've got to work hard to be worse than Matt Nagy.
We could hire all these people and still suck.
But you gotta work hard to be worse than Matt Nagy, though. Like you really gotta try. You know what I'm saying? Like, what Matt did was a talent. It was just a talent in the wrong direction. But I watched that yesterday, and I felt like at a minimum, Matt Eberflus is a guy that knows football,
He definitely knows football.
but might not know how to talk to people or talk to the team.
That's a good one.
He seemed like he was more so trying. He was trying
That's a
to
good one.
win over Chicago. He seemed like he was, and not to say he said anything wrong in his interview. Not to say that he said, but it was just like it felt like you were doing the kind of like try hard, like you were trying a little bit too hard. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, oh, we're gonna break down hits, and the H stands for this, and the I stands for integrity, and the T stands for tenacity, and the S, I don't even know if this is really what the stuff stood for. Uh, but just watching it, it seemed like he was trying to prove to us that he is going to be a good football coach. But you had to like sift through all of the weird stuff that he was breaking down to find like, oh no, like this dude really does know football. Like when I mean, listen, we're in our first press conference, and what it took Matt Nagy 3.5 years to do, it took him the first day to say, hey, no, I want to be the head coach. My job here is to be the head coach. I'm going to hire a defensive coordinator that's going to call plays, which now makes the defensive coordinator position a very important position to watch for, to see who they bring in at that position, because he's not calling plays. He's overseeing his football team. Took Matt Nagy 3.5 years to say that. It took him 3.5 minutes. You know
I
what I'm
like
saying?
the fact that he did that. And, obviously letting I think it's easy when you have, like you mentioned before, it was historically bad on Nagy's part. So it's easy to come in and do something different, do something a little better. Um, it's already a step in the right direction from that regard, or in that respect. I dig it. I think the biggest, I think, question mark is I wasn't at the press conference. I didn't see it. I wasn't able to watch the whole thing. So when you look at it, like, what did our OC say?
He wasn't there.
He
Lou
wasn't there.
Getz
We just hired him, right?
Yeah, Lou Getz wasn't there.
I'm more focused on that guy, right? The one thing I do feel confident is the GM was a former lineman.
Your assistant GM was a former lineman.
That's what I meant to say.
Both of them. No, both of them are.
Both of them. Okay.
Both of them are.
With that being the case, we know that the O line will get addressed, and
Yeah.
we at least know that those individuals in power know how it should look. So when George says these are our football guys, he actually means it. These are
Hey,
our
hey,
football
yeah,
guys,
you know what I'm saying?
right? They know what the O line should look like,
Not
and
our
at the
arena
same
football
time, I
guy.
actually love to see O linemen or former O linemen get that opportunity, because outside of the quarterback, the O line, or those who are on the O line, have to. It's a very high level position. They
Yeah.
have to be able to read defenses and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that
the
too.
smartest person on the field.
So it's I feel really good about that.
Yeah.
Feel really good about that. Only thing I don't feel really good about or confident in right now is ultimately And I know everyone's centered on Justin, but there's so many other people to develop on this team. And he said build through the draft. I get it long term.
It's how you do it.
I
In the NFL, more teams
But we don't
build.
have a lot of draft capital to do that.
Now this
That's
is
the
what
part that didn't
this
get
is what he
me.
also said. That mug said, "Hey, there's ways to get draft capital." I was like, "Oh, somebody's losing their job." That mug came out. He was like, "Yeah, no. There's ways to get draft capital." I was like, "Somebody's getting traded. Who's going? Who's
But
gonna be
who?
buying?" You said what?
But who?
I don't know. And I don't even know if that's the route he wants to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, because here's the thing.
You
This
ain't
is
buying first round picks.
No, but this is the thing, right? So maybe you do ride it out with the picks you got this year. You got 5 draft picks this year. The one thing I do know is he's been scouting for a team that's been drafting low for the past 5 years. Ian Cunningham has scouted for a team that has at point drafted low because they were winning a Super Bowl.
Mhm.
That to me builds more confidence than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably a reason why Ryan Pace was better at finding those later round guys, because the Saints have a history of winning. Very rarely have we seen seasons where the Saints were a bottom of the barrel team while Drew Brees was there.
It's also
They
because it was Drew Brees and Michael Thomas. Let's not throw that.
Well, that was the very end. What was that? 3 years?
Either way, it's Drew Brees.
But no,
Like,
but what I'm
it's like
saying
saying
is, like,
Aaron Rodgers.
what
Like,
I'm
it's
saying
Drew
is
Brees.
you're never scouting for guys who are at the top of the draft. You're scouting for guys who are going to be you of course look at those guys just in case they fall, but you're scouting for guys that are going to be in the spots where you're going to be able to get them. So you're looking for those gems the entire time you're drafting, cuz listen, if you're KC, in the last 4 years, Ryan Poles has never looked for a draft pick above 30? No, 28?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? He's never looked for a draft pick at like 15 because they've been winning so often. So, like, that to me does speak to it builds me a little bit of
We have
confidence
to
in the
fix that too.
what?
Why does good teams get penalized because they're good? Like, that's
Because
almost.
you
I
want to
get
make
it.
it
You
even.
want balance, but
You
still,
want
it's
balance.
you know. I think they should. Bad teams should have a better opportunity to do free agency than anything else. I know it has to be attractive market stuff
I
like that.
said you need to have them fight it out for. I've always said you need to have some sort of tournament system where your goal is to play for the first pick.
Mm-hmm.
Now the problem is in there when you get to those 7 and 8 teams, or you know what I'm saying, that bottom of the barrel team, are they going to try and tank to get into the competition for the first pick, or you know what I'm saying? But
I mean, if you're tanking, tank all the way.
well, I mean, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the weird thing to me is, like, I've always said you want to force teams to be competitive. So you need to have something maybe where even the 18 makes the real playoffs, but then if they get knocked out, they can play in for the, for a draft pick. But you need to make it some way that it's competitive.
Mm-hmm.
That you're competing for it, not that, oh, if I lose enough games, I'm gonna get the first pick in the draft. Like, again, Jacksonville, two opposite ends of the spectrum there. Jacksonville got the first pick.
Mm-hmm.
They just got Trevor Lawrence. This year, they're probably going to get the best player in the draft again. But you're adding one player. Like, what are you going to do? Give him the best player in the draft for the next 10 years and hope that it works out at that point? By that time, Trevor Lawrence has already left the team because the team still sucks. Like, when you're at the bottom of the barrel, you have to find a way to win right away, and it just doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's
No, I'm
always
with you.
been That's always been something that I looked at it and I was like, this is dumb. Like the worst team in the league gets
Gets the
the
best
best
team.
pick. And it's like, it don't mean, especially in football. In basketball, I almost could understand it because if you're the worst team in the league and you get LeBron, you're no longer the worst team in the league. You probably aren't the best team in the league, but you're at least no longer the worst team in the league. But how, I mean, like,
But how often LeBron's walk through the
well,
door?
I mean, Ja Morant completely changed Memphis.
Ja Morant
Completely.
and other pieces changed Memphis. They
Well,
got other pieces there.
they had they drafted it. They drafted Jaren Jackson. They drafted Ja Morant. They drafted, but it was, you know what I'm saying? Like Jaren Jackson was like, oh, we hope this work out. And then Ja Morant was like, we know this gonna work out. So so it's we got real off topic there. Don't worry, we do that a lot on this show. But no, I've always hated that. I've always hated that. I've always hated that I suck. So that means I get the best prize. What? Because to me, like, think about this? Like, to me,
You could argue the best prize is still winning, but
to me, I would say you need to find a way, almost like the play-in tournament is. Whoever wins the play-in tournament gets the first pick. Because one, it's going to force the teams at the bottom to try to make the play-in tournament. You at least have to build a good enough team to make the play-in tournament. And two, it forces the play-in tournament to now be entertaining and worth something. And a first-round pick helps an eighth-round team or an eighth seed a heck of a lot more than it helps the 16th seed. You had a first-round pick to Charlotte right now, and they were able to go out and get one of the best players in the draft. That's a much better team next year. If they pick right. You still got to pick right.
Still got to pick right.
Still got to pick right. But, you know what I'm saying? And then you build it out based off of that. Hey, but it's about are we competing or are we competing to lose? I hate that about the leagues. I hate that about all these leagues now. It's just like you get halfway through the season if your team sucks. Like every season with the Bears, we win 6 games and somebody's like, oh, we just lost ourselves a draft pick. The only reason we didn't talk about it this year is because we didn't have a draft pick to lose. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it doesn't matter if we lose, we're just giving the Giants a better pick. So, like this year, I look at it's gonna be big for Ryan Poles, how he's able to build this team out. And the press conference yesterday, I'm not gonna say it gave me confidence. I'm not gonna say it built my faith up. I'm not gonna say that I was, oh my God, the Bears are back. The one part that I did like, the one part of the press conference that built my confidence up, when I believe it's Mark Grody, who's one of those reporters that feels like he's always asking the hard hitting question, and almost never does. Almost never.
Say how you really feel, Pat.
Dog, I get sick of, you know why? Because like I don't want it to be New York media where you're just like killing a guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like right now, like every question of Thibs is probably like, hey, why you suck? Hey, Thibs. Hey, Thibs, why you suck? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want it to be like that. Like, keep it respectful. But like yesterday's questions were like underhand softball pitches. It was like, how do you think Justin Fields will do in your system? What coach is gonna be like, this dude's gonna suck? Like, ask questions that are actually gonna get to what's
So what
going
questions
on.
would you have asked?
First thing I would have asked him, the best question I heard him get asked was the how are you going to teach Justin? How was it worded? It was like, how are you going to teach Justin to play quarterback as a defensive side, a defensive coordinator, understanding that side of the ball? How are you going to teach him to read defenses, essentially? I would have been along that line of thinking. I'd have been along, hey, Ryan Poles, how do you assess as an offensive lineman? How are you assessing what's happening at your offensive line right now? As a player that has made it, how do you plan on going into this offseason, assessing this offensive line? You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Like, fam, somebody asked him, hey, dog, I swear, I heard it And I was like, oh my God, the chauvinistic males are gonna have a field day with this. Because I don't even know who the reporter was. She came on and she was just like, so what time did you get to work that day that video came out? Because it looked pretty dark outside. That was the question. I was like, fam, y'all can't give them ammunition here, dog. Now she came back with a great question. I give her credit. She came back. Second question was a great question, but we're interviewing your GM. I was like, fam, did she really just ask this man what time he got to work?
What was the second question? I have to understand this now.
What was her second question? Her second question was really good. I can't even remember which one she asked.
The first question was so dumb that the second question paled in comparison.
Oh my God. It was a football question. It was like she actually, I think it was something about I think it was about how does he plan on running, something about practices, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of them. It was like the softball questions kept coming their way.
You know what? I'm actually really against these press conferences right now, especially at this stage, because these guys have barely even had a chance to even assess their teams appropriately. Yeah. Like, Matt Eberflus, whatever.
Oh, but I'm struggling with the name.
Hey, whatever. He's like fresh off the plane. Like,
shout out to Clayton Breeze, super fan for 2 months. Shout out to you, my boy.
Man, shout out to you, Clayton. He's fresh off the plane. Like Ryan Post literally just posted that thing hopping out the car a couple days ago.
Hey, bro,
let the man actually get the name on the desk first. Like,
bro.
I don't want the full press conference. The name
is there, dog. The name is there. They only took off the Nagy part.
Hey, listen, they only took off the Nagy part and they replaced the Pose part. But at the same time, allow the man to even clean the desks off and really start really game planning. Like,
wait, you think Nagy left the desk dirty?
I mean, he may want to sanitize the COVID protocols. I don't know. Allow the man to actually do all that. I'm more concerned about him actually. Like, I would want him to have a press conference right before training camp,
where he's had a chance to assess the team. I get the introduction to the team and stuff like that, but like,
here's the introduction. Hey, I'm your new GM. Happy to be here. Boom. That's an Instagram post, baby. Go to work. Go to work. I have no questions for you right now.
Hey, listen. But when he tried to do the Instagram post thing, somebody's out here asking him what time he woke up for work in the morning.
Hey man, shout out and shame on that person. All right, because that's not bad. That's not good journalism or reporting right there. Like, realistically, no matter what question you come up with right now, they haven't had the real opportunity to assess everything yet.
Yeah.
And if anyone's gonna tell me that they can come in and assess that within a couple of days, you're lying. I don't have to be in that position to know. It takes more than a couple of days for this stuff to happen. Like, they just hired the OC. Like,
the only thing they can assess is the bad that's there, and they're not going to give you that answer. Like, they're not going to be like, yeah, O-line sucked last year. Justin Fields got killed. We're going to find some nice pieces to put in there.
I would love for him that came out and said that, but
you know what I'm saying?
Do it. You know what I'm saying? Like honestly, a real press conference to me boils down to a paragraph. Our O-line is bad. We need to address it. I'm going to address it through the draft. Our QB is underdeveloped. Lots of talent, lot to prove. We need to get him some help so he has the best opportunity to succeed. We have to get him some weapons, and we have to find a way to get those weapons around him. At the end of the day, what else are we talking about?
Yeah.
That's it. What else are we talking about? It's only really, that's all that needs to be said. That's it. So for me, I'm like, well, hey, I get it. I get the rah-rah and stuff like that. But if Getsky isn't there, which is all we cared about at this point, because it was like, hey, listen, all you guys are great. We know the defense is going to be good. We at least know the O-line is going to be better. But the kid behind the line throwing the ball, how are we going to help him? That's all we cared about.
Well, and that's one of the things. So there was 2 moments in the press conference that I really was like, okay, these dudes know football. They understand what they're talking about.
2 whole
and they're
hours. It was
and
only
they're
2 moments.
and they're really in control. Yeah, no, dog. The press conference was mad long, bro. Mad long for a bunch of questions that I was like, we didn't. Are you drinking out of a measuring cup right now?
You know, I have this thing where we bought these random stuff to drink out of for like a party gather, whatever, a while ago. And I was like, I never got a chance to drink out of it. So I wanted to drink out of it today.
But that's like a measuring cup for baking.
But it's also 1 cup, and I need to drink 8 cups of water. So now I know I drank 1 cup. You can carry on. I mean, you can laugh about what I'm drinking out of, or you could applaud me for being hydrated. I mean, it's all up to you.
I choose to do both.
That's a shame.
Hey, this is the
It's
bad
Black
part.
History Month. Why are you going to
This is
sit
the
there?
bad
Why are you
part.
going to sit there and clown me in Black History Month?
Fam,
This is
the
black on
bad
black
part.
crime.
Hey, he got a real cup. Which means I know there's more real cups in there.
Oh, it's a ton of real cups up there.
Like, this ain't he was being lazy and just decided to like grab
Now,
that.
it
'cause
was
the
a little
cups was
laziness
dirty.
because this measuring cup was right next to the cup I got my coffee in. So I was just like, yeah, you two, boom, let's roll.
This man
Lock and
pulled up
loaded.
to the show with a measuring cup. That's your new shtick on the show, dog. You just got to show up with something random to drink out of every day. Flower pot, dog.
I have a flower pot to drink out of. Like the little small ones, the little small flower pots that we got for the kids that they never used. I drink out of that. There's no problem. It's
Don't they
clean.
got holes in the bottom for the water? All right, I'm done.
They do have holes in the bottom, but guess what? That's what the little there's a
Dog,
little rubber stopper that goes down there.
I'm so done asking questions, dog.
I mean, hey, listen, you're the one that brought it up there. You're not gonna
Because it
shame
was
me.
so random. He
Do
just
you realize how unbothered I am right now? You're not gonna shame me.
Hey, I will say, at least you didn't grab it by the hand. Oh, dang it, he grabbed it by the handle. This man is drinking.
Hold on, wait. Pinky extended? Pinky, I can't. It's hard to do it with this cup because it's like the way it's it. Okay, I'm not gonna do it that way.
What an
All right.
animal. No, the 2 moments. My God, how do you segue back to sports off of that? What the heck just happened?
Oh, very easy. The two most
2
important moments in the press conference had nothing to do with my measuring cup, which I'm still gonna drink out of because I'm still thirsty.
Back in the day, we used to drink out of mayo and mustard jars. I agree with that, but that. Well,
Hey,
I guess
Robert,
that
that's
is
an
kind of.
underrated comment.
Hey,
Man, it's taking a measured approach.
He's taking a measured approach. That was an underrated comment. I agree with. I guess that was weird too, because them was the best cups for cookies and milk.
I got a mason jar upstairs. I could have.
Mason jar is unmatched.
By the way, I could not find the mason jar either. So again,
See,
this was right next to the cup I had.
This is what kills me though. All right, like we were so. Like my family would always just like keep the mason jars, clean them out, and use it. I didn't realize they sell mason jars until I got older, and I was like, why did we keep the old mayo jar?
Because it was a free jar. Why buy it when you got mayo? It's multi-purpose. I mean, that's a good use of money, baby. You got to understand what we went through right here. So why would I go buy the jars when I literally have the jar right here? When you're done with that mayo, rinse it out, wash it off. That's what you got to do.
The Prodigy said, grab life by the handle. Hey, no, man. The 2 moments to me that really stood out about the press conference was one when Grody tried to ask the hard hitting question there, and he basically asked him if you were allowed to. I believe it was Grody. If you were allowed to ask, or if you were allowed to do a more expansive search, who would you have brought in? And Ryan Post was just like, I did an expansive search. I found him. That told me like, hey, listen, stop questioning that I'm in control. I hired the dude I wanted. He was on my list. I like that one. That was one where I was like, okay, we getting chesty up in this mud. We getting a little spicy. I like that. And then
Say it with your chest, right?
say it with your chest, right? And then when they asked Matt how he was going to develop the offensive side of the ball, was it going to be a hands-off approach, or was, kind of just let Luke do what he's doing, or was he going to be a part of that? And he said, who's going to know how to read a defense better than a defensive coordinator? Like, I know what they're doing. There's a lot of knowledge there that I can teach Justin. Now, that's not to say I'm going to be sitting there breaking down the offensive game plan day in and day out with him, but
it's a dumb question too.
I know how to teach Justin. Like, I know how to. Well, no, because there's a lot of teams that do that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of the DCs and stuff like that take a very hands off approach to it.
The one thing I will say is I like the fact.
Hey,
What's
that's
up?
a fact, Crit. Hey, I gotta clip that up. I don't know if George is trolling or not, but there's a moment in this press conference where somebody comes on and says, "So, George, another Matt and Ryan, really?" Kind of like trying to joke with George, and George just stared at him and was like, "Oh, very good." And I was like, wait a minute. You telling me you went through this whole process and you never thought about the fact that you were hiring another Matt and Ryan? You got to be trolling.
That's billionaire speak for.
Don't ask me a dumb question like that. Like that's what I was like.
He went from.
It was like he had to process in his mind, like, do I make this guy feel like an idiot? Or like, I was like, I feel like that was George being nice, but also like, I almost can kind of believe that he might have never thought about that through this entire process.
You know what? Here's the one thing about owners too, George in particular. I personally do not care for an owner having to be politically correct.
I mean, in what way? Like, I don't want him coming out with the hard R on a weekend.
I mean, that doesn't mean that he's not. All right. First of all, let's not do that.
I'm just saying, Black History Month just started, dog.
Like, he doesn't have to be politically correct, but it doesn't mean that he's racist. I mean, like, come on, dog. Like, hey, we gotta do better. I mean, come on. Like, there's no reason for him to sit there and be politically correct. What are we really going to do? Like, for one, you're stupid to sit there and say, we'll force him to sell a team. All right, this is not Don Sterling. Move along. Like, shut up. That's the dumbest thing ever. But at the same time, it's like, why does he have to be? Like honestly, I would love for him to say, yeah, I hired another Matt and Ryan. Well, so what? Are they gonna get the job done? Like, I would rather him be spicy on the stand than him to sit there and like, be a bump on the log. Like you can really tell that he's trying to process the right thing to say. And I just don't like it. Take the Jerry Jones approach, for God's sake. Like, do something to that. Like, Jerry Jones said whatever he wants to say. I like it. I love it, actually. I absolutely love it. I would love to see George take that stance, because guess what? That's probably what he really wants to do. Just do it. You're already old as dirt. You might as well. Like, you might as well just already say what you want to say. Get the right people in here. It's Chicago. If we can't handle it, who else will? Like, I mean, realistically.
Hey, what if he just waiting for mom to pass? Like, he just trying to be respectful while she's still around. So, like, you ain't got to go.
Does she even watch the 2-hour pressers? Like, come on.
Oh, for sure. No. They say Virginia, she don't play. From everything I heard, she is still 110% with it, and she do not play about her Bears. Like, she is like deadly serious. Like, somebody said my inside plug has talked with her on many occasions, and said that they were all at the game and you just saw Virginia get up and walk away. And that's when George got mad, because his mom was like, I'm done with this. It was like, oh, okay. But no, she is, hey, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if moms was just like he waiting for moms to die And then like moms end up passing away, and he just start laying into everybody. He's like, now that she's out of the way. Hey, let me holler at you
Wow.
real quick.
I say this: if they don't win before she does, he definitely will blow a fuse.
I mean, let's hope she live 5 more years, 6 more years, 10 more years. Let's keep it going, Virginia. Long as it's a meaningful life for you. You know what I'm saying? Live as long as you want. That's all my thing. But what is she? 98? 98, I think. She's from what I hear, she still got everything. Watch every game, go to every game. Last season, 2020 was the first time she couldn't go to road games because they didn't want to risk it with COVID and all of that. They didn't want to risk her getting on planes and stuff like that. So that was the only time she couldn't go to she didn't go to Bears games. So, I mean, listen, they're never gonna sell the team. They're never gonna. George knew he was catching that wooden spoon after the game. Hey, for sure. It's just like, oh no, mother's upset.
Nor should they. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna sell my team.
No, you know what? And that it's always a dumb statement to me, and it's always a dumb statement to me that you're never gonna win until you sell the team. I understand they don't know football. I agree that they don't know football. I understand that there's a lot of things that they're, not smart about. But that don't mean you can't get smart people in the building. There's a lot of billionaires that don't know what the heck is going on in their business. They still make billions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have smart people run it. And usually when billionaires check in on their business, it's because it's screwed up. It's because somebody messed up royally.
Well, also depends on how you make your money. And I don't know what else the McCaskey's on. I don't know what else.
Nothing. This is it.
Bears I highly doubt that.
Bears is their income, which is why they'll never sell the team.
They have no other financial interests outside the Chicago Bears.
They don't own any other businesses. This is all they do. Billionaire.
I highly doubt that this is their only form of revenue.
Okay.
Like I sincerely doubt. Like, Pat, you would not have this as your only form of revenue.
Yeah, but they're from you got to understand, they're from 70 years ago when having a football team was all the revenue you needed. It still kind of is, but they're not going to start building a business out now. There's nobody young in that organization.
Invest in other things. Like I said, this is.
I'm sure they have investments and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, business, as a business that's built out, the Bears is all they have. Like Jerry Jones has other businesses he's built.
Oh, Jerry Land is nice.
You know what I'm saying? Jerry has completely other companies that he's built up and stuff like that. Their major thing is I'm sure they've got investment properties. I'm sure they've got stuff like that, but their major money is just the Bears. Jerry got so much money because Jerry just be like, man, somebody go start something today, see what happens. Here's $100 million.
If you ask me what type of owner I would be, it would be Jerry Jones.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I'm pulling up with the yacht, my boy.
Jerry Jones.
I'm pulling up with the yacht.
Dog, you getting killed in the comments.
Fam, I keep seeing the comments Pat looks like Poles, which ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? If I look like Poles, it means I'm losing weight because I was Morocco Brown before we hired Poles.
I mean, look like him too.
Hey man, I'll take Poles. Although I don't. Everybody, all light-skinned dudes don't look alike, dog.
Nah, dog, you look like Poles.
Nah.
You look more like Morocco Brown.
We went down this.
You look more like Morocco Brown, but you do favor Brian Poles.
Okay.
I mean, hey, you don't have to agree with it. Just let you know what's there.
I mean, he ain't a bad looking dude. All right. We all look the same, I guess. Hey, you know what I'm saying? During Black History Month, that's what we're going to do. Forget y'all, man. Mike Davidson said it's a family reunion. Who we introduced. Hey, that's good, man. Hey, appreciate y'all for pulling up. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man.
You want to
We
know
do this every
what's
morning.
crazy to me? I think I really like it's really possible to own an NFL franchise. Like I really think it's possible for us to eventually own an NFL franchise.
I mean, yeah, if you got enough money, it's possible to do anything, and you go in
No, you
with the
get a
right group.
conglomerate. Like you use other
Yeah, you
people's
go in with
money.
the right group.
Yeah,
You
you
know what
use
I'm
other
saying?
people's money. But like
I mean, technically, we could go get a piece of the Packers. All we got to do is move to Green Bay.
I mean,
It don't mean nothing.
all right, no. Own, like be a real owner.
It don't mean nothing. You know what
I
I'm
guess
saying?
they're real owners, but it's like
Not really. You can't buy more. What is it? You can't. So like, I was always just like, I was like, why didn't anybody just go around and buy
it's in their
the stocks
bylaws.
from the people?
You can't have
You
more
can't
of
buy
a
them.
certain percentage. So
Yeah, you
that you're
can't
not the
buy them.
majority owner.
I was like, wow, that so basically, it's not a real holding stock.
Like Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys for $150 million. Now he bought it in '89, which was a lot of money in '89. In fact, what is that? What is 150 million?
Hey, my G, listen, this is the thing. $150 million is still a lot of money. I love how we talk about sports so differently. It's just like Dennis Schroeder. He only cleared $8 million this year. That's still $8 million, my dog. Like, I get that he fumbled the bag, and we could definitely clown him for fumbling the bag, but he ain't broke.
All right, so let's look at it. What is $150 million in today's money?
Probably $500,000.
$500,000?
I would think so. I don't
Half
know
a
how much.
billion, you mean?
Hey, I don't know how much inflation is. So,
Well, you said that's deflation if you the way you just said it. You
it
said
went up $500,000. Oh no, $500,000. My bad, $500,000. I see
okay.
what
I
you're saying.
was
Yeah,
trying.
half
Hey,
a bill,
listen,
half a bill, half a bill.
help you out, my boy. Help you out. Let's go this way.
Torian in the chat, what's going on with you, man? Jay Crit in the building. What's happening? Marv in the building. What's going on, Marv?
So that would mean he dropped nearly $340 million by today's dollars to buy the Cowboys. That's a steal. That's a steal.
Is it though? I don't think it is. Because if you think about it,
it's the freaking Cowboys.
No, but what I'm saying is, well, it's a steal based on what they're worth now. It's a steal either way. But when you think
What's going
about
on,
it,
Marv?
If you bought it for 150 mil then, and that's just the equivalent of it. I don't know. I don't do math. Don't worry about it. I was trying to get smart right there. It didn't work out. We're gonna keep it going.
I mean, listen, like Jay Chris said, it was high at the time. 150 million in '89 is a lot.
That's what
money.
I'm saying. Like that was kind of my point. So I wasn't being dumb.
He
overpaid for it in the '80s.
Well, you can't overpay for something if.
Well, you can't. Yeah, you can't overpay for it.
You can't overpay for something that turns out to be America's team. I mean, the Cowboys are bigger than the Yankees at one point.
Yeah.
You know, like it was bigger. So at that point, it's like, hey. But no, like seriously, like think big. Wouldn't you want to own a franchise? I want to own a franchise.
I would want to own a franchise for all the dumb reasons. I would want to own a franchise to be like Mark Cuban. Just to be at the game every day. To be at, you know what I'm saying? Like, to make the money off of it, be at the game. But like,
what
honestly,
he
like
buy
even
the Mavs for?
Like even Mark Cuban tells you that the owning a sports team is a loss.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite interviews. He broke that.
He was like, I own this team because now, granted, listen, you're still pulling in billions of dollars, but he was like, I own this team because I genuinely am a fan of the team and I want to be there. And I like this man bought a team just so he can get season tickets. There were cheaper ways, Mark, but shout out to you, dog. Like,
all right. He bought the Dallas Mavericks for $285 million in 2000.
Yeah, it's a loss. It's worth how many? What was it worth now? 1.4 billion, 1.5 billion, probably.
Let's see. Their worth now is 2.7 billion. Talk about a
Jesus
come up.
Christ. Jesus Christ. I'm tripping that he bought them for how much in 2000?
285 million. I mean, the way he made his money by
Basketball has
shorting,
come a long way, dog.
he shorted the Yahoo stock, and he had shorts all the way up. So he rode that short all the way up. It's still, some people will say differently, but to me, it's still the greatest trade in investment history. The way he made his money. Like, without that trade, he doesn't hit billionaire status to even buy the Mavs. He would still be ridiculously rich compared to me.
And
But without
didn't he not know what you're doing? What he was doing? Like, didn't he say he didn't know what he was doing essentially? Like he was just kind of doing it like, let's see where this goes.
he knew, but he didn't know how far the bottom would come out.
Yeah. Like he was like how he said it. He didn't say it that way, but he essentially was like kind of like lucked my way into a billion. Like you did what?
Yeah, it
Like
definitely was a matter of luck.
like
Well,
it
it was
literally
just
like
by chance.
kind of
Like
lucked my way into a billion.
he knew that there was potential there. He had just sold his company to Yahoo, which is weird because it's kind of like doing the same stuff we're doing. Like he was
Yeah.
pretty much putting sports on the radio at a time that didn't really happen.
Yeah.
And so if you do it right, like honestly, we could luck our way to a billion in the metaverse if we
Man,
find a way to
listen.
get that joint over there.
If I can luck my way to a billion, I'm killing the game.
I mean, first of all, you skipped a lot of zeros in between, but
so did he.
no, he was a millionaire when he actually made that
He was
move.
he was a millionaire, but it's a lot of million. It's at least 100 millions to a billion.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, it was one of those things where we could absolutely make a similar move.
Hey,
Now
man,
we're game planning with the audience right now.
I love it. Dream big. I'm with it, dog. I'm all for it. If we can find our first off, if we can find our way to $1 million, that's a great starting point for us. You know what I'm saying? That
The
first
day you spend $1, you're no longer a millionaire. It's I'm grateful, don't get me wrong, but I'd still be paranoid as heck. Like I'd be more worried about taxes and everything like that.
listen,
Like
it's a great start. It's a great starting point. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to get 8 figures, dog.
Hey, I'm with you, dog. We gonna get there one
At
day.
8 figures, I could spend $1 and I'm still a millionaire.
I'm just 100,000 in the bank would be great right now. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's incremental for me. I get the 100K, I get the 500K, get to $1 million, get the 2 million. You know what I'm saying? It's about building.
I mean, what's your time frame?
I don't plan on dying no time soon, so the rest of my life.
You talking about 3 years? I'm talking about 3 days.
However many years I got on this earth.
3 days, man.
However many years I got on this earth, dog, I'm gonna get there. I love that we just did that live on this. Dog, this is you really get anything on this show, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. If y'all listening over on the Contender, man, shout out to y'all, man. We killing the game. Walter Wright said facts, 100K, I can flip that into $1 million. You tell me how to do that, my boy. You can though. 100K, if you invest 100K, right, you can flip that.
Boy, I tell you what, if you had put 100K in some of the stock picks I had when the bottom fell out, I'm so hurt. I should have put 10. No, listen, I should have put 10K in this one pick I had, and it's still a good pick. It's still a good pick. I am not going to say that online because this is not financial advice.
Yeah.
But it's still a good pick. But you know what really hit for me? Cruise lines.
I can see that.
I got into cruise lines when one of them hit like $4 a share. And then it ballooned up to like 40 something.
Yeah.
Let's see where it's at now.
That's interesting. That's interesting, dog. I don't pretend like I know stocks. I put in stuff that people tell me what to put in on. I'm not.
It's really not hard. It's honestly you just read the white papers on it, or just read the prospectuses and stuff like that. Just buy into companies you believe in, and a lot of this stuff just makes it's common sense. Like, do you see this actually working out? Is this company cash flowing? Are they like? There's a lot of different metrics and like key performance indicators that you would look at to make those picks. But it's not hard. It's just tedious. But it's not hard. It's not hard to wrap your mind around. It's not hard to understand because you're not sitting there trying to like do something sophisticated, like run a iron condor and all that stuff. Like, you're trying to make a solid investment, and time in the market is better than trying to time the market. So,
Well, that's a bar.
I stole it from somebody. Wish I made that one up, but I take credit for it on this show.
Man, we just lost half the audience speaking stocks. Actually, we did. Most of these must
We
stay
did
around.
it.
Shout
Most
out to
people
y'all.
sticking around.
Yeah, most people stuck around. Shout out to y'all.
This is a morning show. If you
It
really
really
thought
is,
that you're
dog.
going to get straight sport talk the entire time,
Hey,
find
my
another
favorite
morning show.
is when mugs come through and just be like, I thought you were talking sports, or I thought you were talking this. It's like, my G, you pulled up an hour and a half late to the show. That conversation has happened already. You need to rewind.
You know what you need to do? Go turn to ESPN. They're going to talk about the same thing 15,000 times.
All day. Them mugs are going to be on that mug for hours talking about.
Talk about being a dead horse.
John Morant's up and under that tied the game.
Did you see that? First,
Great
we
up
got to
and
get
under.
Molly's take on it. Then Stephen A has to take 10 minutes on it. Then Dan Orlowski has to take 10 minutes on it. Then guess what? On another network, Keyshawn, Will, and Jay have to go ahead and take
That's the same network.
whatever. I said same network, ESPN.
You said on another network.
Oh, well, same network. So literally from one side of the facility to the next one, they're going to talk about the same thing in this round carousel. And it's like, dog, while I like it, no, I don't want to hear that. Talk about something different. But so if that's what you like, man, that's what you like.
Hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
I think we're trying to be more of the Breakfast Club of sports than anything else.
I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it. We got to come up with our version of Donkey of the Day where we just like light into some athlete for being dumb. And then they end up pulling up to the club and it's like, I just want to look you in your face like a man.
Who would be Donkey of the Day?
Who would be Donkey of the Day?
Who would be Donkey of the Year so far?
Ben Simmons. Easily.
I kind of applaud him for sticking to his guns. For some odd reason, he ain't too worried. I mean, he did sell a house to get some cash flow so that he could do some stuff, which was smart. But I mean, hey. What are you gonna say? He stuck to his guns.
Must they stop being a crybaby that's crying about his $34 million that a team wanted to pay him. Most times I take the player side on stuff like this, but Ben Simmons is absolutely cut everything out from him just because he don't want to work on a floater package.
Is he even still working out?
I ain't seen a Ben Simmons highlight reel in years. Well, months. Actually, no, years now. We in 2022.
Ben Simmons is the weirdest guy to me.
Weak.
Not even for what he's doing, but
all the talent in the world. That's why
you don't pay for potential anymore. Well, that's why you shouldn't pay for potential.
All the talent in the world absolutely can play the game of basketball. I'm never going to say Ben Simmons can't play basketball. He's an excellent defender. He's an excellent facilitator. He is a weak-minded individual if you can't work on your game and people telling you should work on your game is too tough for you.
Pat, you shouldn't say that. I mean, he's dealing with mental illness.
If he was dealing with mental illness, go get help for the mental illness like me and you are doing.
I mean, still didn't work.
Hey, when the team, I mean, it might not work, but you at least trying. Hey, you're trying. At least you say you're trying. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dog. That's just it's weak. It's weak. I never and I'm sure there's a lot of ins and outs to it that we don't get. But you know who I respect in this whole situation? The
Damn.
Sixers. Oh, we'll let you sit over there and we're just gonna keep finding you. At this point, we're not losing money.
I
We
don't have to
losing.
pay you.
I don't have to pay you. We lost the talent.
I wonder
Okay.
if they are giving every time Ben Simmons gets fined, are they giving Joel Embiid bonuses?
I would find Ben Simmons every game, and then I would give his I would give the money that he has to pay for the fine to a basketball camp that helps develop jump shots and floaters. I
You're
would
just gonna
go
be
deep
that
with it.
petty, huh?
I would go deep with it, dog. I would go deep with it. I would be like, yeah, this is a camp that absolutely develops some of the best jump shooters and floaters in the game.
Is Joel Embiid the best big man in the game right now?
Is Joel Embiid the best big man in the game right now? He's the most dominant right now.
This is his last couple games. He sat out for rest versus Memphis, and they still put out the win.
Yeah.
Last game, Sacramento 36-12-6. Lakers 26-9-7. New Orleans 42-14-4. San Antonio 38-12-6. Clippers 40-13-6. Orlando 50-12-2. The numbers
He's
just
the
kept
most
going.
dominant.
Hey,
He's the
numbers
most
just kept
he's
going
the
up
most
for a second.
dominant. He's the most dominant big man in the NBA right now. Skill wise, Jokic is probably the best just because he can do more
Skill wise.
And really just facilitating. Because I mean, if you look at it, while Jokic can facilitate, Joel can play defense. But yeah, that they're 1-1A. Yeah, I'm saying like they move ahead of each other every other game.
Yeah, not the last stretch of 10.
What did he do?
Although 28 points and 21 rebounds with 9 assists is a freaky stat line.
A freaky stat line, dog.
That's a crazy stat line right there. I saw
Jokic
that.
got some
I was
stat
like,
lines. You know what I'm saying? Like Jokic, that's why I said Joel's the most dominant because Joel's getting a lot of points. He's scoring
okay,
crazy.
I take that back.
But Jokic's his whole stat line, like blocks, steals, assists, rebounds, points, is crazy.
His last one was a very Vooch stat line. 18 points, 9 rebounds, but 15 assists.
Yep.
29, 13, and 10, 26, 10, and 8, 28, 21, 9. 28 points, 21 rebounds, 9 assists.
He picks where he wants to be dominant at. And he has the ability to pick where he want to be dominant at.
What's more impressive, the 28, 21, and 9 or 49, 14, and 10?
49, 14, and 10.
Well, I mean, it's
what?
I mean, it's nearly double it's nearly 10 more rebounds. I mean, it's 12 less. All right. Okay, wait. I just did the math wrong. It's 20 less points. All right, forget that question.
Yeah, I was confused, dog.
49, 14, and 10.
Marv
and he's
says
still averaging 26
Joel's
points.
more important to his team guys. They won the last game on pure grit with Joel. They're going up. Well, I mean, Denver ain't going nowhere without Jokic.
Denver absolutely has not. Denver's so injured right now. I can't really say that.
Denver's not going nowhere without Jokic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I appreciate I appreciate that, but I have to disagree because I mean, Jokic goes down, they might as well just tank.
Jokic goes down, they are tanking. They're not even trying to. Hey, you just said Philly won without Joel the other night versus Memphis. Memphis, one of the best teams in the West.
Crazy.
lot of
Crazy.
surprise teams this year, dog. Bulls,
I don't think
Cavs.
Bulls is a surprise. Cavs is a surprise. I don't think Bulls is a surprise.
Bulls is a surprise because we thought they would move up to top 5. We didn't think that they would be the best in the East. By the way, Ringo, where you at?
We thought
Bulls,
we'd be top 5 with just Jokic and I mean not Jokic, Vooch
Vucevic,
and
and
Zach. Like we felt like we finally had a big man that could give us some buckets, and so we knew we were going to be a better team. We knew we were going to at least be a playoff team. But to add Lonzo and DeMar, like I don't see how that's a surprise that we're like maybe number 1 is the surprise, but
number 1 is a surprise.
but like to be considered a top team in the East, like that's not a surprise to me. That's not a surprise to me at
No,
all.
we all thought they were going to be a top team in the East, but
You know,
where we are is a surprise. Like we're the best team in the East. And hey, listen, this is the thing, right? This is how good the Bulls have been, or maybe how bad the rest of the NBA has been. Want to take it however you want. We've been the best team. We're still the best team in the Eastern Conference, and we've lost 6 of our last 10.
Yep.
That's a really good team when you can lose 6 of your last 10 and still be the best team in the East.
I'm gonna be honest with you. So the Nets are sliding. The Bucks kind of slid a little bit. The surprise team
Hey,
for
I don't
me,
feel I don't feel bad for the Bucks at all. I keep seeing like Muzz like, oh, the Bucks are going the wrong direction. What's going? Hey,
I
they
don't
got
care.
their full team. They are missing Brook Lopez.
I'm surprised by Philly. Philly is a game and a half behind us.
It's not surprising. The whole
I
East
am.
is that way though. The whole East is like within 3 games, minus like Charlotte in 8th, I think.
Charlotte 7th, 4 games back. That's crazy. Only 4 games back.
You know what I'm saying? Like the whole East is you lose 3, but that's what I'm saying
This
with
is how
like.
wide open the West is. So
Oh yeah, it's 2 teams and then the rest of them boys.
Suns, number 1, Warriors 38-13. They're 3 games behind the Suns. The Grizzlies are 4 games behind the Warriors,
Which is crazy.
and then everyone else is like 11 games back from the
Wait,
Suns.
they 4 games behind the Warriors, or they 4 games behind the Suns?
No, the Grizzlies are 4 games behind the Warriors,
So the Grizzlies are 8 games back,
and they're number 3 in the West.
The Grizzlies are 8 games back. The Suns are rolling and nobody's talking about it.
I mean, you expected them to roll.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if Golden State is doing this, like, it's the leading story every day. Golden State's back, blah, 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 which they are. But
I mean,
you know what I'm
they're
saying?
still second in the West.
That's
Like,
what I'm
they are
saying, though.
back.
But like, if they were first, but we still talking about Golden State more. Maybe
That's
not
only
us,
because
but
Clay's back.
we're talking about No, we've been talking about Golden State all year. Mug's been talking about Steph Curry and the Mugs all year.
Yes,
And then
the
it's like,
record
hey,
had to be
who's in?
broken. He broke the record. Clay came back. There's just more storylines there. But like as
Hey,
far as basketball, no one's talking about how Steph is having the worst shooting season of his career.
nobody's talking about. No one even brings it up.
Like Steph is having a horrible season from a percentage wise. It's terrible. He's shooting worse than Westbrook. Yeah, that's that bad, dog. He shoots worse than Westbrook this season.
He's shooting from the field worse than Westbrook?
Yes.
Okay, that's different. Because he's shooting it at an all-time low from 3.
No, he's shooting at an all-time low, period. Like across the board, all his numbers are down.
Man, that is crazy. Hey man, I gotta see something though. Hold up. I gotta double check something, right? Cause I ain't heard no slander in a minute. And that usually means
And
somebody.
Russ just put 30.5 on the on the on the Hornets.
Fam, that is a crazy stat, bro. That mug said first player to do that
Since Kobe.
since Kobe retired. And he did it. Was it the same day? It was right around the time Kobe passed away that he did it.
Steph is shooting 41% from the field, 37% from three.
Hey, man, this is all I'm going to say. That slander done got real quiet on my boy Russ.
He done picked it up.
That slander done got real quiet on my boy Russ.
Russ last couple of games, he been hooping. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 12 assists on 8 of 15, 35 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 20 points, 4. But you know what?
I will say this, though. I will say this. The part that nobody was talking about in that 30-point half was the 5 points in the second half.
Yeah, I think they were blowing them out, though.
No,
they still lost. They lost.
They lost.
They lost. But no, he's shooting 44.5 from the field. What is he shooting from three? I think he's shooting better from three than Steph. That'd be wild.
Nah, Russ is shooting like 30% from three, dog.
Hey, dog, hold on.
Russ is shooting. He gotta be.
Yeah, you right. You right.
Yeah, he gotta be shooting like 30% from three, dog. Like, hey, Russ. The only thing that's helping Russ 3-point percentage right now is that he actually is not he is not shooting. You know what I'm saying?
the slander for Russ, for LeBron, I think all of that quieted when AD came back, because AD on that team healthy. I mean, that team is a force. That's not. I expect them to climb the standings rapidly.
Yeah.
Now, is he going to be healthy? Is LeBron going to be healthy? We have to consider that. Is LeBron going to stay healthy for another long playoff run? I mean, I'm not wishing anything bad on him, but Father Time is undefeated. I don't care how much you juice. Father Time is undefeated.
Hey, what's his name? What's his name? Been kicking his butt. He still don't know if he retiring yet. Tom Brady still don't know if he retiring yet. Tom Brady's not. Think about this. Tom Brady might not retire because he's too old to play the game. He might retire because his wife's like, please come home. The kids miss you. They haven't seen you in a while. Your son's about to go to high school.
No, I hadn't heard of any Kyrie trade rumors. And if they decide to, they decide to. Ultimately, it's Kevin Durant's team. Any team that Kevin Durant is on is his team. Let's be clear about this. Kevin Durant could be on the team with LeBron right now. It's Kevin Durant's team. He's the best player in sports when he's on the floor. That's period. You don't have to like it. He's the best player. He's the best player in the game of basketball.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. I was like, oh, that's
his best player
big
in the
range
game of
there, my guy.
The one thing I love about Kevin Durant's game is that he literally fits into any system. He's the only player I've ever felt confident when he said, yeah, I'm going to get mine. I need you to do what you do.
Yeah.
Like, there's not one system where Kevin Durant doesn't fit in, because he doesn't have to be ball dominant to do what he does. He can just be a spot up shooter. He can beat you off the dribble. Like, he's that good. Now, if you don't value how he plays the game, that's on you.
He's the best player in the NBA right now.
He's been the best player in the NBA since he came back from injury.
Yeah.
He was best player before he got injured. I don't care what anybody says. He was. The only person I would say would be challenging that is Jokic. And maybe Embiid. But outside of that, nah, please. He's been the best player in basketball since his Warrior days. Period. You don't have to like the trade. You don't have to like any of that. Kevin Durant's the best player in the game. Kevin Durant rolls through your town, it's a show.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of players.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I gotta see him up close, hooping at a high level before he either retires or something like that. I gotta see it.
That's the one I was thinking about. Shout out Cornelius. Giannis is absolutely making his case for it.
No, good name.
Absolutely making his case for it. I don't know, dog. Now Giannis just got his name on there.
Hey, Giannis says KD's the best in the world. He ain't said
Giannis
that about
does say
nobody
KD the
else.
best in the world. Giannis is also mad humble though, until he don't want to be. You know what I'm saying?
He
KD
said
don't.
that about.
Hey, KD don't talk no trash to him. That's really all it is.
He ain't said that about nobody else.
KD just don't talk no trash to him as the super producer Joel Holt enters the building. What's good, my boy? Can't hear a word you saying, Joel. We'll put you in the back room again. Appreciate you, dog. Stay safe out there. But no, it's Giannis got a case for it to me, dog. Like there's a lot of he adds, you know what it is though? He improves upon his game so much every year that we see, like you can see it. Now he's still ain't added this jump shot. Must be like, and now he's adding a jump shot. He's not. He's just taking them. He's adding. I think Giannis is shooting what, like, gotta be like Westbrook level from the field, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying, like it ain't the jump shot ain't pretty.
Jump shot ain't pretty.
The jump shot ain't pretty. But we give him credit just for trying. Hey, that's how easy it could be for Ben Simmons. Just try. Ben Simmons said, I ain't good at it. That's the end of that.
When you have this is a hard way to say this. Good Lord. Kobe has been in the league, retired, and unfortunately passed away, and you still haven't developed a jump shot. Why is that important? Kobe was one of the first players to say, hey, he needs to develop this jump shot, and if he does, he's going to be a problem. Yeah. And for some odd reason, a legend says, hey, he just needs to do this, and he's completely unstoppable, and that doesn't click for you. Like at this point, you can't tell me. Like, look at the difference in personalities we're talking about here. Like Giannis was like looking at the Mamba challenges and stuff like that. He's completed all the challenges.
Every challenge.
Ben Simmons had one challenge.
Yeah, we got you. Ben Simmons had one challenge.
Get a jump shot. Challenge. He ain't did it.
You know what I think is interesting is that I remember once upon a time I called into the show and we had a discussion. And we pivoted to basketball when it was football. And you guys got on me where I was saying Kevin Durant is the best player, like in the NBA. But you're talking about, so it's funny to hear you say in the world. No, because it was packed. Because I'm like, no, Brooklyn would have won if they weren't injured, right? Because it was, I think it was off of Kevin Durant going for like 50 points in the playoffs or something like that. I'm like, he's supposed to do that. Because he is like the best player. Yeah, he's old or older. It was just funny to hear that. So thank you, Paris. Thank you for stating what you're thinking.
You know, I
disagreed with you.
Yes, you did. Yes, you kicked me off the phone call. You're like, oh, that's great. Yeah, next.
I like stealing your takes. You have some good takes. I like stealing your ideas too, like the conspiracy theories.
I was like, that's very interesting. Where did you get that
I saw that text message. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me wait a couple of days.
Hey, anything to help. Anything to
help. P.kidd is definitely like Timon from the Lion King. Like Pumbaa would give an idea and he'd be like, oh, wait a minute, here's an idea. How about if he's on our side?
When I was a young warthog.
All right, relax. Don't hurt yourself this morning, man. It's early, man. How you feeling today, Joe?
Busted out.
Man, I'm feeling great. You know, excuse me. Wow, man.
Hey, he came through with the Bears. He came through with the Bears hat, man. Y'all always got to get his opinion, man. How'd you feel yesterday after the Eberflus and Poles press conference?
Wait and see. I mean, they said the right thing. We're gonna take. I like he said, hey, we're gonna take the North back, and we're not giving it back. I like that. That's confident, but as that, you know, they guys got to say something. So we'll see. well, this is what I will say. The only thing I really liked that was positive about Eberflus to me was the coaching pedigree that he comes from and the people he was thinking. So a lot of you got Dungy and Nick Saban in there, mainly Rob Marinelli. So if the philosophy is that we're going to do some type of Tampa 2, we're going to have a fast type defense. I think what I said from the outset, the defense is going to be fine. What are they going to do for the offense?
Mm-hmm.
So, it is what it is. So I like we'll see what happens. I mean, it really doesn't matter after that. I just thought it was funny about pandering to the Bears organization and great job and this and that. I'm like, man, get out of here. Like you came in and said, this is what I want, get out of the room.
Hey, I'll say this. There was no bigger of a letdown in that press conference yesterday than when you thought the press conference was over and then George McCaskey sat down. You were just like, wait, no. What are you doing? Oh, God. No, he's speaking.
I had to watch all of it because I got a chance to see some highlights. I was busy yesterday as I was newly minted, in my new starting position.
Congratulations on the new gig, my boy. Big money coming your way.
I saw that, by the way, on LinkedIn, flaunting a little bit, got to flex a little bit out there. I see you.
A little flex on the LinkedIn, man.
Hey,
man.
I've been,
it's a LinkedIn flex, just promoting yourself.
I don't know if I got Joel on LinkedIn. Yeah, he keeps his black friends down when he goes to the business world.
Yeah, maybe.
He said maybe during Black History Month.
Well, J Money, since you're with us right now, you get to be our participant in Pete's Paranoia. Now, I don't know if I spell paranoia right, but guess what? It's up there. It's up there.
And that's how you pivot to a segment right there.
That's how I pivot. It's 7:15, 7:16 on some clocks. Guess what? I told you all at 7:15 I was going to drop Pete's Paranoia. Now, where the heck did Pete come from? Well, you can go ahead and ask the guys at the Contender who Pete Casanova is, because it's not Petty Casanova, it's Pete. So Pete's Paranoia, sports conspiracy theories. Here is one for the road right now. All right, listen. So I want to ask you all, if you believe this to be true? We're going to talk about, we're going to do two. First one's going to be with the GOAT Tom Brady. The conspiracy. The NFL destroyed evidence from Spygate to hide what the New England Patriots were really doing. Here's the scenario. Bill, obviously, and the Patriots were caught spying on the Jets during the game. The team gave the league tapes, which were destroyed. A report came out that said the Patriots secretly taped the St. Louis Rams walkthrough before the Super Bowl, and many fans believe the tapes were destroyed by the league to show that the Patriots cheated to win their first Lombardi trophy. How do you all feel about that one? Now, I actually remember this one. Yeah. I think it's true.
Yes. Think about the time what was going on. They got that questionable call against the Raiders to even get into the Super Bowl in the first place.
The Tuck rule, right?
Is
that the Tuck rule?
The Tuck rule led to them getting into the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about 9/11, the Twin Towers that just, got destroyed. Like, that was all like a whole morale thing. Like, the Patriots won. Yeah. And they were jamming the mess out of those. They were cheating on the receivers. Like, that was like a low score. How you gonna have the high flying, Rams offense? They were killing everybody, and then they get in there, they're holding them like crazy. So I totally believe that. Yeah.
Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Force the refs to make a call.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold you all game until the refs make a call. Guess what? If it's the first offense I get caught for, you know what they gonna do? Oh, we're gonna take a little bit out of your paycheck. All right, I won the Super Bowl. That worked out.
I'm gonna take this part from Business Insider, who actually had a nice article on sports conspiracy theories. They said why it's probably bunk. The tapes handed over to the NFL were from the 2000 to 2002 seasons, but reportedly did not include anything from the Rams walkthrough. The report that the Herald actually put out had to be retracted. The NFL said they investigated and found no evidence. Of course they did. Just like they found no evidence of Robert Kraft.
Now that's a different situation.
That's a whole different story because that
ain't cheating. Well, technically, he is married anyway.
He was definitely getting the happy ending. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That being the case, I
We
think
tried
it's
to keep it
true.
professional. It didn't work out.
What is professional? I said I didn't get vulgar, did I?
No,
Anyway, all right, here we go. Anyway, so that's the first one. We all think it's true. Let's go to another legend real quick. I wanted to do a Michael Jordan conspiracy theory, but I mean it kind of gets old after a while. We talk about Mike too much. Too much. But I want to touch on this one because we have some faithfuls in the chat. Some people absolutely were either there or young enough to remember. The 1985 NBA draft was rigged for Patrick Ewing, for the Knicks to get Patrick Ewing.
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
Yeah, they tanked, and they wanted to make sure they brought some talent to the Big Apple. It's set up just like LeBron. You're gonna tell me Gordon Gunn? We're gonna bring in the old blind guy to help, and bring some good luck to get LeBron from Akron to Cleveland. Yeah, no, definitely fixed it so that Ewing got to the league. Yeah.
How do you fix ping pong balls though?
Huh?
How do you fix ping pong balls?
It wasn't ping pong balls. It was envelope.
Yeah, they changed.
Oh, that's right. In the 80s, it was envelope.
It was all like this.
And they were like, they froze the envelope so David Stern would know which one to grab.
Yeah.
Envelope is different.
Yeah,
I believe that one because not too long after that they went to doing ping pong balls, right? Because everybody said that.
Right after that, they went to ping pong.
They went to ping pong balls so that you couldn't fix it anymore.
No, you couldn't fix it. But if you add extra balls in the thing,
well, that's how it works. You get more ping pong balls if you suck more.
Yeah, but no one actually looks at the numbers on the balls.
Yeah. They might have did a show. I mean, the only times we really saw ping pongs was around the Orlando Magic time, right? I remember it because I actually remember watching it when they pulled them. Oh, look, it's the Orlando Magic, And then after a while, they switched up to where they're sitting there with the placards, But
so here's always been the biggest thing I've been paranoid about. So ultimately, you can't decide you can't force a team to score. Like obviously, you can't fake that. You either make the shot or you don't, right?
Yeah.
But you can orchestrate the game so that it is in someone's favor to win, right? And you could also orchestrate things so that it's in organization's favor. And so I've always felt like all these small market teams that are now on the scene and making some noise was that legitimate game plan by the NBA to force or to bring talent to them so that they can now be more competitive with major markets, and then we have more competitive games throughout.
So I would say this I think early in the game, you needed the Magic, Boston, you saw who were winning: Detroit, Chicago, the major cities with tons of folks, in those cities. Those are major markets. So I think they probably did complain and cry, and now they allowed the other talent to get there. But I do think it's, I think it was a favor for Zion to go to New Orleans because he should have went to New York. I think that, the NBA, like I saw in the trade, like the Chris Paul trade, David Stern knew what he was doing. Like when he shut down, I guess it was an outcry that LA would get yet another all-star caliber player to play with Kobe, and then they would go on another run. Like you got to have some sense of parity versus just allowing LA to keep winning. So
interesting thing about that, Gilbert Arenas on his podcast had Chris Paul. He talked about why the league supposedly blocked that trade, and it wasn't a matter of them having being too powerful just off the trade, but realistically, LA, just the way that the cap was expected to go up, and they would have already had 3 max players, and because the cap would have went up, they would have had the ability to sign a 4th one, which would have made them, like the Warriors later in the decade, and David Stern didn't want that.
So let me ask y'all this then. In that situation, was David Stern right? because while yes, it would have been amazing to see Chris Paul and Kobe, I would have loved to see that. My team sucked, so might as well have saw something that was good. When you started letting teams build those super teams, it turned into, I think, what we would call, what most people would say, one of the more uninteresting times for the rest of the league, because you knew it was going to be Golden State, you knew it was going to be Miami, you knew it was going to be Cleveland, and then the Spurs kind of finagled their way in there just off of what they had already built. But I mean, we're talking about in the finals for 10 years.
Yeah, think about it.
Was he right? No.
Yeah, he was right. But look what happened. You got the Clippers. They brought excitement to the other LA team.
Yeah, but the Clippers didn't. I mean,
No,
yeah.
I mean,
Not
no,
from a
they
league
were
perspective.
formidable.
Yeah.
They had like a 5-7 year run. I mean, it was Lob City.
Yeah.
Like that was
basketball is better now than it was 5 years ago.
No, I'm saying that when they vetoed the trade for LA, that would have been Chris Paul, Kobe, and I believe Dwight Howard, right? And then Dwight
Chris
Howard
Paul,
got out of there.
It would have been Dwight Howard, and then you could have added one more player.
And yeah. So now Paul goes to the Clippers, and now you got Blake Griffin and the center,
DeAndre
Jordan.
DJ.
Like, yeah, you had a formidable team that was a good thing. You know, that was a new team that was made.
Well,
I mean,
my thing is, like, when you started letting the super teams get formed and you started like Chris Paul was really the first one that was like a player that was orchestrating or dictating policy. Like Chris Paul and Kobe were dictating, we want to play together. Let's make this trade happen. This is going to go down. And the Lakers and Charlotte obliged to both of them. Boston at that, what year was that? That was after. Boston was after that. There's still a lot of trades that had to go down to make Boston work.
Boston was before. That was 08.
You had to trade. Boston was before that.
Yeah.
The reason why I say David Stern was not right is because you still ultimately got LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, who were 3 of the top 10 players in the league. Chris Paul, Kobe, and Dwight Howard are not 3 of the top 10 players in the league at the time. Kobe, yes. Chris Paul, maybe. Dwight Howard, no, because he's just coming off back surgery. He was on the decline.
Yeah.
On top of that, he didn't allow. The conspiracy for me there is they did not want. Like Kobe was on the second leg of his career. I mean, he had in 2010 he was nearly 15, 16 seasons in.
Yeah.
Right. Still averaging 28 points, which for some odd reason
championships.
People still forget that. He was year 15, 16, he was averaging still averaging nearly 30 points a game. I don't know why people say, yeah, look, you know, no one's done this. LeBron's doing something like that. Kobe definitely was doing it.
T-Mac.
Yeah, like I don't understand that. So my thought process is they wanted the league to be handed off to a younger generation. And the best way to do that is to ensure that this generation didn't have a chance. Because there's no way in the world Kobe doesn't get another ring with that squad.
This is the thing.
He never had a point guard.
This is the thing, right? Like,
never had a point guard.
They as a league perspective, to me, it's the right move. Because until Ja Morant came in, they were scared. Until Ja Morant showed up, you think about it. All the guys that are the face of the league right now, KD, Steph, Bron, they all 30s, high 30s. Yeah, I'm saying 36, 35, 33. You might have 3-4 years left with them. The NBA was scared. Jokic is not going to be the face of your NBA. Luka is not going to be the face of your NBA. It's never going to happen. They didn't have Zion. They wanted Zion. They thought Zion was going to be the next face of the NBA. Zion can't stay healthy. They didn't have that guy that was going to be that next face, that next oh my God player. They were never going to make it. They're not going to make it Zach LaVine. unless Zach just goes off and wins, the Bulls go off and win 2-3 championships or something like that. They didn't have that player that was like, oh my God, exciting. We're going to put this dude on every night that was young. Trae Young's not that dude. He's just not. Trae Young, you watch Trae Young play basketball, and it's like, he scores a lot, but I wouldn't say this is great basketball. I would say Trae Young's a really good player. But if you watch the Atlanta Hawks is not great basketball.
I give you that.
He's in there though. They didn't need him.
No, they need him. Like he's in there, but we talk about the face of the league. The NBA at that time, the NBA had young stars they could pass it off to. They were gonna pass it off to prime LeBron. They were gonna like Kidd was saying. Yeah. The NBA, you have to make that decision when you have that opportunity to make it, because it's not going to always be there. And then all of a sudden you're trying to rely on old stars to build up your next level of NBA, and it just don't work out like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Ja Morant coming into the league, to me, you're about to see the same thing happen again. You're about to see stuff fall right for Memphis, because Memphis needs to be that team that's on ESPN every night.
I'm going to give you some pushback. I think
Giannis is a good one too. Luka is not in there. No, Dallas will never be that team. Dallas will never be that team.
Dallas is on the come up again.
Dallas may be on the come up, but Dallas will never be that team that mugs tune in to watch every night.
The reason why I say that is because you don't have to watch it. Your viewership is not the one that ultimately matters in that case. The viewership of the international scene is what matters. That's what makes Giannis the biggest draw. Giannis is, he represents the market that the NBA is tapping into. Yeah, Luka represents that market the NBA is trying to maintain a stronghold in. Those international players are very important to the game, and so because of that, so because of that, making like Dirk was good basketball to watch, not just because he was one of the best power forwards to play, but what he represented. Luka is the next coming of that, and if you take it, there's a lot you can poke holes in Luka's game, but the one thing you can't poke holes in is the fact that on the offensive end, he's already a top 75 player.
Yeah, but you got to think, how often did ESPN and all the mugs forget that Dirk even existed? It wasn't until Dirk won an NBA Finals that somebody was like, "Hey, yo, this dude has knocked down a lot of 3-pointers. Like, he's one of the best shooting big men we've ever seen."
Well, you still mentioned a very local network. That's a domestic network.
And Dirk was unheralded for about 2 or 3 years, and then he was on the rise. He was definitely on the list of like.
But Dirk been cold his whole career.
No, he was like shaky. When he came out of Milwaukee,
Dirk wasn't never shaky.
No, his rookie year, he was okay. You know what? The numbers don't lie. But
his rookie year,
Dirk had some moments.
His rookie year, I'll give you.
That's all I'm saying. And then he ascended. I didn't say he was a scrub. I'm just saying he wasn't on the radar his first year. Just like how Grant Hill.
That's fine. But that's fine. But what I'm saying is he had a 20-year career.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA didn't hone in on Dirk as being a actual face or an actual major piece of the league. Like, hey, we can build advertising around this dude and make real revenue off of this dude, until he was.
Hey, fellas, I was right. I said 3 years. He didn't make his All-Star year until he came out 98. By 01, he was averaging 23 points a game.
We agree with you, but what I'm saying is that's 17 years left in his career. Nobody paid attention to what Dirk was really doing until the last 5 years of his career.
No, I wouldn't say that, because Dirk made 2 finals appearances.
Third year, because he was he won the championship by 06. So
no, he won a championship.
No, they lost the championship in 06. They won the championship in 11.
His
point is he went to it. My point was that he was not irrelevant. He, for the first 3 years, was like off the radar. He was an all-star by 01.
Yeah, but was he that dude that they were putting up there as the face of the league?
No. Time out. You can't use that. You can't say that, because there was too many other storylines that were going on. Shaq and Kobe was just on their run when he got drafted, and they had just broke up.
I
That's a
get
bigger
that.
storyline.
No, I
Detroit makes
understand.
their run. That's a bigger storyline.
I
Miami with
understand, but
Shaq makes their run. That's a bigger storyline.
no, I get you. But what I'm saying is,
Celtics make their run. That's a bigger
but as
storyline.
the
Like,
face of the league, the NBA is not going to put Dallas over a New York or Chicago or LA or like we don't even really pay attention to what Dallas is doing now. Like, they winning. That Dallas is on the uptick right now. Like, their game's actually good. They're actually playing really good defense lately.
if
Like, Luka
Dallas
is
had
actually
won,
clamping mugs up.
if Dallas had
Why are you
won,
so aggressive?
they
Why
would
you so
have.
aggressive?
If
If
Dallas
Dallas had,
made the finals.
if
Why you
Dallas,
so
no,
aggressive?
if Dallas had won, you made the finals. That's great. But who won? Miami won. Who was on Miami? Dwayne Wade, Shaq. Those are bigger names than Dirk Nowitzki. They just are at the time.
Kid, there's still bigger names even if Dirk wins.
They're
Miami, Dwayne Wade is still a bigger name than Dallas Dirk Nowitzki with a 2006 NBA
Dwayne Wade is not a bigger name than a champion 2006 Dirk Nowitzki at the time.
He is.
No, he's not.
I don't disagree that Dirk was never on the mountaintop of the
and even if he wasn't, there's a lot of dudes that are above him that they're gonna put in there as the face. Yeah. What I'm saying is the NBA is always gonna put their biggest market as the face. That Dallas ain't even the biggest market for the state that they in.
Right, because Houston actually has a bigger market.
Dallas ain't even the biggest draw for the state that they're in. They'll always put the Houston Rockets above the Dallas Mavericks if Houston is playing well.
Yeah.
They always will. That's just what it's gonna be. Luka will never be.
Anytime the Houston's played well, look at who they had on their team, though.
But what I'm saying
is that's
Luka,
the difference. Like, there's a lot of nuances to that.
But Luka would have to win at a minimum 2 rings within 5 years for them to be like, we're gonna promote this heavily.
Yeah,
they were already
they might make him the face for international. That's how they do it. They have they stars like Derrick Rose was the face for China for like 10 years. Even when he was hurt, because
did we just forget that even during the Warriors run, they were putting Luka out there heavy? Like, the marketing dollars behind Luka was heavy a few years ago. Like, what are we talking about? Like, let's not have revisionist history. At no point put good dollars behind Luka.
At no point were they making him the face of the NBA. LeBron was still the face. KD was still the face. That's what that's what this all that was all about. Who's going to be that next face? They're never going to make Luka the face. Ja Morant's so exciting because he's 6'3" and he can jump over everybody that he has a shot at being that next guy.
You got to roll.
Next guy.
I got to get out of here, fellas. I just wanted to jump on.
All right, man.
Appreciate you, my man.
All right, breathe.
I'll let you, my boy.
Yes, sir.
Stay safe out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a slight to Luka. It's not Luka can't play. It's not. It's just how the NBA is. The NBA is always going to put their biggest name players, and they're looking for. Let's be honest. They're looking for a black player because the sport is predominantly black and it's predominantly watched by black kids. So they're looking for a black player to make the face of the NBA.
I disagree with that part.
When hasn't a black player been the face of the NBA? Larry Bird?
The league makes up 60+% of the NBA. So the chances of the face being a black player are high. They're just higher. So like that's just it. But there's no way in the world you're gonna sit there and tell me like, oh, like Denver right now. The only reason why for one is Denver.
Yeah,
it's Denver. But if Jokic was to be in a different market, doing what he's doing with a winning record, he would be the face of the league.
But they were at the top of the West last year, and he wasn't. Muzz wasn't looking at him like he was the face of the league. Like we were on the show, like y'all are really not looking at what this man is doing.
The certain markets do get looked over, but it has nothing to do with the individual player and his ethnicity. It has more to do with the market and the draw. And unfortunately, in early 2000s, the Mavericks on their meteoric rise, especially because of Mark Cuban just acquiring them and the waves that he was making.
Yeah.
If they win that championship, that narrative is completely different.
He's still not the biggest face of the league, though. At that point, Brown was there. It was
At
always
that,
going to be Brian. Brian was so good. This is how good Brian was. Brian was so good, they made Cleveland the face of the league. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nah,
there's nothing.
they did
There's
they did, Brian was doing his thing. Brian definitely was doing his thing, but the league was being very
but
they
it
didn't make
went
Cleveland
from
the face of the league.
it went from Kobe to Brian. And
It went
when it
from
went from Kobe to Brian was when Brian went down to Miami.
it went from
Like, Brian was
Kobe
getting pushed, but
it went from Kobe to Detroit.
no.
Detroit had the
Kobe was still
wave.
the face of the league well into the 08s, 09s.
No,
Nobody on
Kobe was
Detroit
not
was
the
that
face of the
face.
league because he had that case. He was not the face of the league after that case. They literally they tried all they could to get away from Kobe. They really did.
And he kept winning, so it didn't work. They had to put him on.
Kobe
Kobe
was
was
just
on.
pissed off and just going off. But if Kobe had if Kobe had played the rest of his days like Reggie Miller, we wouldn't have been talking about him. We just wouldn't have. Kobe just was a different player,
He won championships.
what I'm saying is like Kobe was just a different guy, and that's what ultimately led to it.
Kobe was the perfect player for them because Kobe was one bilingual. Kobe could be the face of the international team. The Lakers are an international brand, and everything the way actually is Kobe trilingual. English,
He knows
Italian,
4 languages, I believe.
English, Italian, Spanish, and French, right?
He knows a little Mandarin. Well, he knew a little Mandarin.
He started learning Mandarin because he was over in China every year.
So much.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's who that the NBA, while they may not have said they were pushing it or not trying to put, he kept winning. And it was LA. He had no choice but to be the face. Like we don't have no choice.
They moved away
but
from him for a good 4 years.
Yeah, and then he kept winning, and they went right back to him.
And they went back to him for like 2 seasons.
But you know what? Rip Hamilton was never the face of the league. Chauncey Billups was never the face of the league. Ben White, like they didn't. We're talking
about them. Their focus on the markets. You're not going to stop. Like LeBron was going to be the face of the league eventually because he's just that level of talent. It didn't matter where he went. You were going to follow that talent. And we had never seen a LeBron-like talent at that time. You're going to follow a Kobe because Kobe was the closest thing you had to Mike.
Yeah.
Kobe could have went to New Orleans for all I care. You would have followed Kobe because it's Kobe, right? But when you talk about like international players and stuff like that being on there, earlier on, we weren't really as accepting of international players. However, Dirk was the exception because Dirk was getting that tick. Dirk was making those all-star games.
Yeah.
Dirk was literally 1 game away, 2 games away. But the league had accelerated so much after he lost because we go from Miami winning that championship to now Boston getting the big 3. So now the big 3 in Miami happening. No, Boston getting the big 3, Kobe getting Paul Gasol, that Lakers and Boston Celtics thing going on again. Those narratives just kept rolling to the point where there was no room to start making an international player the face of the league. We have the old trusted and goody storyline right here. Like, I'm not going to change that. Like, why would I go against a Boston versus LA storyline against 2 players who absolutely don't like each other? Shaq was on those teams. Kobe was on those teams. Kobe didn't like Ray Allen. Well, they didn't have the best rapport with each other. Like they really were out for each other. So like it was a bigger storyline. But then what happened right after that? Dirk is right back there. Like after that, Dirk is right back there.
He got there and then he won his chip. And the season after that, we was like, yo, he really is one of the best bigs in the game.
And then the season after that,
we forgot about him the rest of his career.
The team was trash after that because they were old. Jason Kidd retired shortly after. Jason Terry was out the league.
Yeah.
He had nobody. Sean Marion was on that team. Sean freaking Marion. When's the last time you said Sean Marion's name?
Hey, Sean Marion actually was... when you look at Sean Marion numbers, it's like, oh, this dude's actually getting buckets.
They called him the Matrix for a reason.
North Chicago's finest, man.
Like he when he finally won, he was just old.
I mean, I get you, but
and the league had accelerated
I just don't see
because what happened after 2011?
Even at that time, after 2011, it was still about LeBron. It was still about LeBron and
It
Miami.
was about the big three.
It was about the big three. It was still about them winning. It was also, by the way, that's probably biggest upset in finals history. That's
It
up there
really
for biggest
is.
upset in finals history. But
It
even
really
that,
is.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's a.
But then what's the storyline there? What happened then? It's the big three going against who? Going against
Tim
who?
Duncan. Tim Duncan.
That's a bigger storyline. So for the sport, am I going to say, hey, Dirk Nowitzki, best power forward in the game? Or am I going to go look at the fact that Tim Duncan is back in the finals, making another finals run? When who's this guy sticking LeBron? Like that is a bigger storyline. So
Yeah, but it's
because
also
of that,
just
the face of the league follows the storylines. Zion is not the face of the league right now. You want to know why? He ain't been on the floor, and the storyline has changed. Now who's the face? Like really, who's the face of the league right now?
There isn't one. Brian still. There really isn't one.
I would say
there really isn't one.
I would say Ja Morant is becoming the face of the league. I would say Steph Curry.
I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. They're moving. But that's why I said you see how quickly the NBA moves. Ja's been in the league 2 years. The NBA is moving things to Ja.
Hey, 2 years, but look at what Memphis is doing.
No, I that's what I'm saying though. Like that's why
I said LaMelo. I don't know what happened with that.
The next face of the league won't be somebody from Dallas, won't be like you have to be an oh my God, I can't believe he has the ability to do that kind of player. Luka's 6'7", he can handle the ball, he's a great scorer, he can do all of this stuff. That's all great. Ja Morant is what, 6'4"? Jumping out the gym, yamming on everybody and their mama. You know what I'm saying? Like he's when you watch Ja Morant, he's one of those, how does he have the ability to do that kind of player? If Derrick Rose could have stayed healthy, it would have moved to Derrick because we used to watch Derrick do stuff and we'd be like, how the heck did he just jump that high? How the heck did he just out jump a center? How the heck did, like that's what the NBA wants to go to. When you don't have that player that's oh my God dominant, which really like the next generation probably won't, because there's so many players that are of that next level of talent now. Like when it was Bron was new. There's nothing new now. Ja Morant ain't new. Ja Morant's a better shooting Derrick Rose or a better shooting Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
It ain't new though. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen that. We've seen point guards. John Wall got so many posters. It's disrespectful. We don't even talk about the people he dunked on because they're not even in the NBA no more.
but here's the thing. John Wall missed his boat. Not his fault. Injuries. League change. The reason why Steph Curry is the face of the league right now is because, hey, Warriors are second in the West. Steph just broke the 3-point record. You want to know how we know he's the face of the league? I would say this, why he's the face of the league. Because he's having the worst performing year of his career, and no one's talking about it. But we're talking about the Warriors.
He's having the worst performing year of his career. I feel like that comes in with winning, though. Like with winning covers up a lot of stuff. Winning covers up you caring about a lot of stuff. Like you can be like, he's having the worst. Like if they were where they were last year and he was having the worst shooting year of his career, we would be like, Stephen Curry is absolutely shooting them out of these games. Like he needs to fit. You know what I'm saying? Like when you win the games at the end and you're winning by like 40.
Yeah.
It's like Stephen Curry shooting bad. It don't really matter.
Klay Thompson coming back is a big thing.
When we went on our 9-game streak, Zach LaVine shot horribly.
Yeah, you know what? But the Bulls, the one thing I will say about the Chicago Bulls is we have, unfortunately, a gift and a curse. We've been gifted the gift of Michael Jordan. That legacy will always be a Chicago staple. You will always see the Jumpman and the Chicago Bulls logo synonymous. Can't do anything about it.
Yep.
You see 23 in the rafters. But because of that, and a lot of those people who I would say those reporters, they just remember those days so much because it was the most exciting time of their lives for the most part.
Yeah.
They'll never let us live that down until we win again. And we'll never get the same pub until we win again. The moment we win, like nothing was bigger in Chicago than when Derrick Rose almost made the finals.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't think we won't get that pub because the Bulls got to the point where I could actually watch ESPN because they were talking about my team.
Yeah.
But granted, we were the best team in the Eastern Conference.
But we also had good years outside of that, and the pub wasn't the same. We had some good years outside of that one run. And the part wasn't the same. We won over 50 games at least 3
You
times.
talking about still with Derrick?
Still with Derrick. Prime
Yeah.
we had other seasons that were good, but it was never the hype was never as high. And you would say, oh, it was
But you
winning.
know what?
But that's when we were on the map.
Well, this is the thing. The Bulls went because when Brown went down to Miami, the Bulls went from being the favorite team to
An underdog.
They're the team. So the story was Miami, but the Bulls went to, hey, that's the best defense team in the East. If anybody's gonna beat you, it's gonna be them. Like they were always in the conversation, but they weren't the story. And that's just, I mean, that's what it. Hey, listen, they were right. Like the Bulls gave Miami their best fight, and it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Hey, their best fight was 4-1. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't matter. Like
the most interesting thing about all of this to me is, we talk about all these different storylines that happen, and then slowly but surely, a small market team makes some incredible moves in a draft, and look at where they are now. 10 years later, like 8 years ago, you couldn't have said that Steph Curry would be an all-time 3-point shooter, and the Warriors would have had 5 championship runs. What, 8 years ago? 8 years ago would have put us in 2014. You couldn't have said that in 2014.
Dog. We're in 2022, dog.
In 2014, you would have said that Steph Curry would have had 3 rings and 5 finals appearances.
5 years ago was 2017, bro.
Okay, 3 years before 2017 was 2014. In 2014, you would have said
that? 5 years ago.
I said 8 years ago.
Oh. I thought you said 5 years ago you wouldn't say that Steph would be like this. I'm like, he was winning at that point.
I think the 5 that threw off, maybe my mic broke up. The 5 that throws you off is he made 5 finals appearances.
Oh, okay.
So, but like in 2014, you wouldn't have said, you couldn't have told me that Steph was going to have 5 finals appearances, be the all-time leader in threes, and like you couldn't have said that. I wouldn't have believed it in 2014. I would have said they got 1. Maybe.
I'd have said they got 1. I'd have said they got
3 in 5 years.
Yeah, I'd have said that team probably gets 1. I'll say this: I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have thought that Steve Kerr would make that quick of an impact.
Yeah, that was wild.
I'd have never thought that Steve Kerr would make that quick of an impact. But I also didn't pay attention to how bad Mark Jackson was doing that team either. That's the part nobody wanted. Hey, forget Mark Jackson on the whole, like what he said about people, homosexuality, or how he felt about, or how he was hosting church in the practice facility. Forget all of that. Mark Jackson was absolutely putting people in the wrong position to be successful. That's why he shouldn't be a coach. Muzz like Mark Jackson should absolutely be a head coach. Like Mark Jackson told Steph Curry, you need to pass the ball more. Mark Jackson told Draymond Green, you need to be a spot up shooter.
The crazy thing about this, though, so do you ever listen to JJ's podcast?
JJ Reddick?
Yeah,
I bump him.
You listen to the Draymond interview
where he was talking about how he'd be out the league?
No, so Draymond's been doing a lot on that circuit. So shout out to him. I didn't know he's been doing it for 6 years.
Draymond's been getting ready for his career to transition for a while.
Hey, I love what he's doing. He's very articulate. He knows the game of basketball, and I
love
really
what he's doing because doggone it, I'm trying to get big in these streets, and all these NBA players want to be podcasters now. Go back to being rappers. What happened to that? I was rappers for a minute. Remember that? When Kobe was like, remember the love. Everybody, like, what the heck was Kobe doing in that anyway?
I have no idea. But Kobe tried. Bless his heart. He tried. He tried to rap.
Stop hanging with Shaq.
But no, he was mentioning how Steve Kerr, when he first got into the locker room with them, was always talking about rotating the ball.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, what do you keep saying rotate the ball for? Like, where's Steph gonna shoot? Like, he was pretty much saying, like, no, he needs the ball to shoot.
Yeah.
And he was just pretty much, teaching or preaching to them that the ball will always find the deserving player,
the open man.
And so it took them a while to buy into it. But when he finally did, he was like, hey, sure enough, the ball always found Clay. The ball always found Steph. Stuff like that, just by making those swing passes. And so I like hearing stuff like that. But it goes to show you that Mark wanted Steph to come down,
Set up the
set up
offense.
the offense. Draymond, you set the pick, stand there, spot up. And if you notice, Draymond's the first finals run that they made, Draymond has a game where he has like 30 points.
Yeah.
And he was taking a lot of different threes at the top of the key. He don't play like that no more. He didn't play like that for most of the other championship runs.
Well, because he realized that I don't need to be He's like, he realized that he's better suited if he focuses on getting everybody else involved because they're better at it. Like that's like Dre has the ability to score 30. I don't know if he has the ability to do it every night. Steph does. Clay does.
Mm-hmm.
Iggy had that ability them early years when they were there. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the guys that you like. He just realized, like, man, these are the guys that I want to get the ball to. These are the guys I want to facilitate it to. These are the guys who I want to move the ball around to. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I'm not tripping on I'm not tripping on Dre. The one thing I'll say about Dre is Dre's one of my favorite players because Draymond is like every dude that is on a team, and every now and then, like everybody else getting buckets, and you just like, I'm gonna get a shot up. Like there's like 2 or 3 shots a game where you be like, why did Draymond just take that shot? And you just be like, man, Draymond ain't shot the ball in a quarter and a half. I'm gonna get a shot up.
Time to get a shot.
Hey, I love it, dog. That's one of my favorite things about Dre, dog. Like 2-3 times a game, if you watch it, like he'll play solid defense, he'll help the facilitate, and he'll be talking on the other end. He's drawing with somebody, and every now and then it just be like, man, that was a real ill-advised shot, man. You like, oh, he gonna get a shot up.
The funniest thing about the Warriors to me, outside of what you just mentioned, is we labeled them a super team. They were never a super team until they got KD. They were never a super team. Super teams are made. They're not developed and drafted. They developed all those pieces except for KD.
I don't know if super teams are developed and drafted.
Super teams are
not developed
are not developed and drafted. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, that's a super team," and they literally drafted every piece and they just developed into really good players, and they have a system that works. The system worked to the point where, hey, yeah, this is a really good team. But that's not a super team.
Super team just mean you got multiple superstars on it, though.
Yeah, but realistically, why do you have superstars? Why do you have all-stars on your team? Because you're winning. The Detroit Pistons had 4 people in the all-star game. Why? Because they were winning.
Yeah, but I'm not talking just all-stars. I'm talking like the all-star game is a popularity contest. All-stars don't.
Like Clay is an all-star. He ain't a superstar. He's an all-star. He's a really good all-star, but he's not a superstar. Draymond is an all-star. He ain't a superstar. He's one of my favorite players. I love Draymond, but he's not an all-star. He's not a superstar.
Draymond ain't a superstar.
Clay is not a superstar. Steph is a superstar. KD is a superstar. But individually, you put Draymond on another team, it may look like a totally different player. He's admitted that. You put Clay on another team, he's an all-star potentially, but he ain't a superstar.
I would love to see Clay go to another team and have the Tom Brady effect. See if he can do it.
Clay go to another team just so I can see what it look like. I just want to see what it look like. Because all he gonna do is catch and shoot, which is what he should do.
Well, my thing is we've seen Clay have the days where he's put up 45 without Steph on the court, where he's had to be the leader on that team. Like I get it's still his same team, but like we just don't credit him for that. Like he can't play like that the entire season without Steph. It's like
Clay, Draymond said it best. Would they have probably still, gone on to have massive success? Yes. But that tandem there, them together, they got the best. The chemistry and stuff they developed, that's the best you were going to get out of them. And I believe that. I believe without Draymond there, that team does not run. Draymond
Yeah.
on the bench yelling at you on the floor is more impactful than anybody else on that squad. I promise you it is. Under different circumstances, I do not see. I'm not saying Clay's a bad player. So it's like I hate when people like take things out of context. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's one of my favorite players. But Clay is one of those.
Hey, you definitely turning a little Stephen A. Smith there. I'm not saying he's bad. He's one of my favorite brothers on the floor.
I love the brother. I really do. But
we had dinner together.
It's, for me, ultimately though, it's for me, he fits a specific role as a sharpshooter, and that's great. That's really, really great.
Yeah.
But I don't see him being, you know. Do you see him averaging 30 in the league?
Yes.
You see him averaging 30 in the league.
Clay,
but that's hard to say. Him, you put him on a different team. He's the only shooter. Of course, he's going to average 30. He's going to take all the shots. So
Clay doesn't do a lot of what he can do. Like when we saw Clay by himself, you saw Clay handling the ball. You saw Clay taking guys off the dribble. You saw Clay playing on both ends. Now, can he do it post-injury? I don't know. I haven't seen him where he's 100% worked in yet. We're going to see that as the season comes down to the end.
I was real shaky on Clay off the dribble. I was shaky on Clay off the dribble. That's no cap. I really was.
This is my thing. Like he can still, like he can take you off the dribble, and if you stop him, he can pull up in your face and cash a mid-range.
He does not have the offensive package that a Bradley Beal has.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying,
what I mean by that is Bradley Beal is a certified bucket. Can get to the cup, can shoot.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal's also been on relatively bad teams.
Yeah.
I don't think Clay would be able to do what Bradley Beal did or does from an offensive standpoint. Not meaning he can't get the buckets. He just has to get it differently. And those type of players generally, without that type of full package game right there, they don't have the same type of success.
I mean, what other than Bradley Beal's got tremendous speed too. That's the other thing. Clay don't have that level of speed, but
he's freakishly fast. Like
Bradley Beal is really he's ridiculously fast. Like
he can turn your head, he's at the bucket.
Yeah, you turn your head, he's at the bucket. But there's nothing to me that Clay, like, what can't Clay do? Clay can dribble. Clay has handles. He don't got like, I'm finna cross you up. I'm finna Jamal Crawford you. But it's not like you're going to rip him up if he's trying to get to the bucket.
I would say this. I've never seen Clay floor game and looked at it was like, that's an elite floor game.
Yeah, but we don't see Clay dribble often on this team is what I'm saying. The only time we saw it, the only time I saw it is when Steph was hurt. Yeah, but it's not what they asked him to do. He's a spot up. He's what the Lakers are telling Carmelo to be. He's a spot up shooter. Clay Thompson dropped 50 on the Bulls on 2 dribbles the whole game. How you dribble the ball twice? Somebody went through and looked at everything he did in that game where he dropped 50. He dribbled the ball twice.
Hey, dog, that's a bar. You got to clip that up. He's like, how you dribble the ball twice? And I have to think about it. How do you score 50 off of 2 dribbles?
How you score 50 and you dribbled the ball twice?
63 off 11 dribbles kind of made sense because it was like you get the ball, you bounce it. But 11 threes is what, 33 points? Yeah, 33 points. So how you get 60 off of that? He got fouled a lot? I got to go back and look at that game.
What you saying?
It was a bunch of catch and shoot.
Bunch of catch and shoot. What nobody
he dropped 50 on us off 2 dribbles, and then he dropped 62
off 11,
or 63 off 11 dribbles.
Yeah.
So he's a spot up shooter. He's your designated spot up shooter.
But what I'm saying is when he was asked to do more, he had the ability to. He's never asked to do more. I want Clay to be a spot up shooter. Because it opens things up for Steph Curry on the drive. It opens things up now for Jordan Poole on the drive. You know what I'm saying? You don't want everybody cutting in there and driving in. But it's not like Clay can't do it.
Yeah. So,
to me, Shay said, remember that Chicago Bulls team was bad and filled with injury. You could have stopped it. It was bad. You could have stopped it. It was bad. Man,
it doesn't matter why we were bad. We just bad.
Hey, they let
injuries or not. We got
Man,
torched for
that
50 off 2 dribbles.
bro, I'm telling you, bro, like there was a point I didn't know how many dribbles it was until somebody went back and did the research, but there was a point in the game where literally I thought to myself, fam, he's just shoot. I haven't seen him put the ball down in a minute. And he was just, I mean, he had to hit like 8 threes in a row before he missed one. Like that was like, fam, it's one of them games where it's like, man, I really got to watch this. But it's also like burst your team. So it's like we just got our heads kicked in. And I don't think that man put the ball on the ground.
So that proves that's like leans to the point. Like you force him to put the ball on the ground, that dramatically changes.
He doesn't put up 50. You
He
force him to put the ball on the ground. I don't think he scores 50 consistently, but I think he could average 20, 25 points a game, 25 to 28 points a game.
It'd be a lot of listen.
It would change his game.
It would change his game.
It would change his game. He wouldn't be
thing.
like Clay. Clay gets the benefit of like in that game. It was just Clay coming off screens. Like it was Clay coming off screens. The Bulls were a terrible defensive team. Like Cristiano Felicio falling over somebody's face, and then like it's Clay wide open in the corner, spot up shot.
So that's why I say it's like that team, those players, that system was just that match made in heaven, as Draymond has put it.
I agree with
because
that.
you would not have that opportunity, or he would not have had that opportunity in any other system to do those things.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to have a Draymond who's unselfish enough to realize, hey, my immediate role on this team is not to score, and I may not fill up the stat sheet the way you want me to.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely about to bust you over the head in so many different ways. And
that's what makes the Warriors dangerous. That's what makes them the Warriors. That's why I said, like, when we had the debate yesterday, like, somebody was like, Chris Middleton comes in and gives you that same production, or if somebody else comes in, you can replace Clay's production. You cannot replace Clay's production. There's not many dudes in the league that can spot up shoot like that.
You
and
can't
defend.
Replace Prime.
And defend. I tell you that there's nobody in the league that can spot up, shoot, and defend like Clay was during them championship runs.
No, I give you that.
He's the only one. Like, you can't, like, they don't win. Now, when Kevin Durant gets there, it's a different story. But they don't win.
When Kevin Durant gets there, he don't have to do nothing.
Kevin Durant gets there. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant. But
it's a cheat code, man. I can talk about Kevin Durant and his game in so many different ways. I watched a 30-minute clip of Kevin Durant post game.
He got great footwork too. He's got great.
Think about that. You can watch just every aspect of this game. You can watch like half an hour clips on it, and you can break that thing down, and it will still amaze you, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to look at that and say, that dude is 7'1", and he's jumping in the air, fading backwards,
and he jumps,
and he actually
you
gets
don't see
lift.
a lot. You're like, yeah, that's the impressive thing about KD. Go look at a lot of like those 7-foot dudes that shoot. They don't jump. Jokic don't jump.
Jumps.
Embiid don't jump.
So when you see his contest, his contest even there doesn't matter. But 9 times out of 10, when he's fading back, your hand is like on his chest for some odd reason, like because he's fading back, and you don't want to get kicked for one because he wears like a size 15. But like it's just weird. You know what's weird to me? The level of touch he has. Like, we look at the rim and we say, hey, 5'10", 6 foot. Let's say you're 6'4". You still have to shoot up at the rim and go over when you jump. When he jumps, he doesn't have to do that. When he jumps and he extends his hands, he's at the rim already.
Fat, you know what's crazy to me about KD? Is the only way to guard him is to face guard him. And it still don't work.
You still don't. It still don't.
Listen, I'm never gonna say I'm a great shooter. I was never like a shooter. I always played at the rim. You put your hand in my face, unless I'm around the bucket, I don't know where the rim is at. I wasn't a shooter like that. You put your hand in my face, it throw my shot. So for me, it's just like, I also don't do this for a living. But for me, it's just like, fam, like he just shoot. And it don't matter if his eyes closed or not. He know where the basket is at.
He's as tall as Marko Simonovic, but he plays as if he's 6'4". And having seen Marco in person, I have never seen Kevin Durant play in person. But that's just freaky to think about.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pay whatever I have to pay to see that happen.
Tom, great point. And you ain't 7 foot. Tom's making great points here.
For him to have this type of career and not have major foot injuries. Like, he's had major injuries, but they haven't been like, he doesn't have foot problems.
Well, he came back from it. That Achilles I'd say the Achilles is going to take years off his career.
I don't think so.
The Achilles took years. The Achilles, because of how it's going to, even everybody deals with the soreness after. Zach LaVine's still dealing with ACL soreness, but he's 7 foot. Never mind.
I don't think so, dog.
Hey, I recant that. Never mind. He's 7 foot. It's so much he can do.
Modern medicine now, the stuff you can do, like the stuff that you can do now with modern medicine is so much better.
I understand, like on the Chicago talk. No, I mean this is just regular sports talk, but to me, I don't care how disrespectful. I don't care how disrespectful it is in the Chicago market. Kevin Durant's the greatest scorer we've ever seen. He does more. Kevin Durant doesn't get the accolades as much. And all of that is basically a popularity contest. But there's nothing that he can't do in this generation that he couldn't do in every single generation. There's nobody at any point that's going to stop him. The best candidates to stop him are playing right now, and they can't stop him. You know what I'm saying? If you want to say, oh, in the 90s, he would have got knocked down, how you going to knock down a dude that can pull up over everybody?
I love when people say that, like, Tony Kukoc didn't exist and wasn't averaging 19 as a lanky 6 foot.
Oh, me and you agreed. Tony Kukoc in this league is a dominant player.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
dominant player. I love this. This is the thing, right? I love the names. Magic Johnson would have done a great job on him. Scottie Pippen could have done a great job on him. They still would have got dropped off.
Scottie Pippen would have got tortured.
I don't think Scottie would have got. I don't think Scottie would have. Scottie wouldn't have had anything done worse to him than Giannis has had done to him.
You can't. First and foremost, we have to. I hate name dropping other podcasters, but Gilbert has his own show, and I'm just a sports fanatic at this point. You can't sit there and say, oh, this person wouldn't have been able to do this because they would have gotten fouled or you would have had to hack them. That means they get to the free throw line, which means that they still.
No, in the 90s, it don't mean that. Hey, that's the thing about the 90s. You go watch some of that tape. Fam, when they put what was it? When Isaiah Thomas, first off, Bill Laimbeer hit John Stockton. That was the end of that. Anyway, Bill Laimbeer hits John Stockton, knocks John Stockton down. Karl Malone, Isaiah Thomas drives to the bucket, goes for the lay. Karl Malone elbows him in the forehead, leaking, not a foul. Stop at your play. Ball went out of bounds. They was getting away with assault.
Well, those are the unwritten rules of basketball that no one wants to talk about.
Yeah,
like,
but
the ref knows what it is. You hit my best player, I'm going to hit your best player, which is why when Grayson Allen rolls his punk behind back through Chicago, and you see him go for a layup,
like on that tip, right? Like
Tony Bradley absolutely getting a tech for a flagrant. Somebody's getting a flagrant when he rolled back through here.
Hey, just please not Tony Bradley. Hey, we've seen Tony Bradley do enough.
Hey,
we don't need to see Giannis pick up Tony Bradley. You can't get picked up twice in the same season. You can't get picked up twice in the same season.
That boy may not actually make it coming through the land like that. He's not. And that's the unwritten rule of basketball that no one likes to talk about because we want to have a better image or whatever like that. No, somebody's going to put their hands on him. In one way, shape, or another, someone's going to get hurt in that game. I guarantee you.
All of the dudes that weren't on the floor that would have put their hands on him in that game.
Somebody's getting hurt in that game. and there's going to be someone ejected, or there's going to be someone with a tech. Someone's getting something done.
I would predict a fight. There's going to be a fight, like a real fight.
I predict the tech. I don't think a fight's going to happen.
I think there'll be a fight because if I know you're going to retaliate, I'm coming in ready to swing. I'm coming in on my Rajon Rondo.
I just hope that they swing on the right person.
By the way, Rondo, don't swing on Giannis. Don't swing on Thanasis either. Hey, listen. I'm making career decisions for y'all. What Gilbert say? You don't swing at players of that level. You don't go after the king. He told Isaiah Stewart, pack your bags, you'll be out of the league by the end of the season.
And he almost ain't wrong, because we ain't heard nothing about that man since then.
What has he been doing? Well, I think he got hurt.
I mean, not Dallas. He's on Detroit. So.
He on Detroit, yeah.
Cade Cunningham has actually been balling a little bit, and we don't hear nothing about him. So,
but no, like it's gonna be interesting though to see. Like, it's always interesting to me to hear like Muggs talk about like this player could guard KD. This player could guard KD. This player could guard LeBron. This player could guard LeBron.
LeBron can't guard KD.
And LeBron can't guard KD.
LeBron can't guard KD.
And guess what? KD can't guard LeBron.
LeBron actually, he's done a good job on LeBron.
Giannis
he's actually done a good job on LeBron. Look at the tape, dog. He's done a good job on LeBron.
Hey, listen.
He still got dunked on, but he done a good job on LeBron.
Hey, when Brian get older, you can start doing a good job on LeBron. You wasn't doing a good job on LeBron in that prime years. You know what I'm saying? I get you were young, but you were getting dropped off quite a bit.
That LeBron in that season,
multiple elevator rides.
I don't care what nobody says. You look at LeBron in that season, that's the biggest I've ever seen him. That's the fastest I've ever seen him. You can say what you want to say, but I'm still going to go on the record and say, I don't care. Biogenesis was a thing. I'm just letting you know that LeBron was freakishly big, freakishly fast, and scary. I ain't never seen him that way since. And I ain't seen, except for one time in Cleveland, his second season in Cleveland.
So hold on, let me see this here. I'm trying to see if this is against each other. If this is against each other, this is crazy. So I think this is their numbers against each other. You ready for this? I think 27.1. 27.1. 7 rebounds a game. 7 rebounds a game. Bron gets the edge in assists. 7 assists a game. 4 assists for KD. KD ain't passing that route. Steals a game. 1.5 for Bron. 1.1 for KD. Blocks a game. 1.1 for KD. 0.8 for Bron. Fam, I don't think I've seen a matchup that even. Ever. I don't think I've seen a matchup that even ever. Percentages. Bron shoots 50%. He shoots 49%.
What's 49% of a jump shot? It's half a shot.
49.5.
It's half a shot.
49.5. Best games are... No, that's best seasons. Never mind, that ain't it. I was trying to see best games versus each other. Fam, that's crazy. Field goal percentage. KD actually shoots worse field goal percentage. 47.8, 49.5.
He also takes more jump shots.
That's crazy, dog.
You know what's even crazier to me?
And Muggs want to talk about somebody in history was going to guard this dude. Fam, I love Magic. I love Scotty. They're not. Scotty might be a better defender.
Prime Scotty, I'll give him that.
Scotty might be a better defender than Bron. Scotty probably a better defender than Bron. But Bron's still a really freaking good defender.
Freakishly good.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get
really
at the later parts of his career, we might talk about him a little different, but he was still a really freaking good defender.
You want to know what's crazy to me? KD will pass 25,000 points this season. Let that sit for a second.
He will pass 25,000 points this season.
Carmelo Anthony just passed 29,000 points.
Melo got him by what, 3 years?
Melo got him by like 6 years.
No. Melo not that old.
He came in
Melo,
08.
Melo
Melo
what,
came in
35?
05.
Melo's 35. KD's what, 32?
Well, not years, seasons. Seasons is what we need
seasons,
to go by.
yeah, seasons, yeah.
He got him by 5 or 6 seasons.
What Smitty say? Smitty said you talking about trying to guard KD. Rodman was a small forward in Detroit. Oh, they talk about something else.
Okay, time out.
Rodman's not guarding KD, by the way.
Actually, no.
Well, this is the thing. Actually, he might actually have had to match up with KD because in the 90s, KD would actually be a center.
Power forward.
7 foot in the 90s? Ain't no way. They're not putting a 7-foot power forward out there. You know, the 90s was rigid. Melo is 37. Okay, maybe you do got him. That's still 4 years.
Well, I'm going by seasons because I think KD is 33.
Seasons, yeah.
KD's 33, but he's had 2 years off. And that matters.
Man, that's crazy.
That matters.
He did take a full season off.
He has 2 seasons off, which means that he would probably be in the 30,000 point range by now.
That's crazy. I didn't think about it like that. And Melo's had... No, I think it evens out. I think Melo had to sit out 2 seasons too. Melo had to sit out 1 season in New York because of the shoulder. True. And he was out the league for 2 years.
That's true. Melo's career.
So actually, man, dog, what would Melo numbers be? Dog, they both would be. Fam, Melo done got hold out of a couple of scoring buckets. Man, now I'm more impressed by Melo. Melo doggone he was out the league. He's out the league a solid 2 years. And he sat out a full year. The year he was going to come to the Bulls, he messed his shoulder up. That's crazy. That's crazy. To me, KD's the greatest scorer we've ever seen. And I love Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, there's also tiers to this. KD's the greatest scorer we've ever seen. That don't mean he's the greatest player. That's a very different conversation.
Yep.
You can be the greatest scorer I've ever seen. Like Steph Curry is the greatest three-point shooter we've ever seen. Don't mean he's the greatest player. I think guys like that should be in the conversation. I'm glad that KD is in that conversation. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that height should be the reason that you're in that conversation. I think Steph Curry should absolutely be in that conversation, but I don't think there's anybody in history that could have guarded KD.
No,
at any point.
Anybody guards KD.
At any point.
And that's
because I don't know if there's and it's okay. And it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Rodman guarded big dudes, but like Rodman didn't have to deal with a dude that could do a turnaround jumper fade away in your face. Rodman might have punched him in the kidney.
Rodman's still getting 30 put on him. I don't care what y'all talking about. Like, hey, Dennis Rodman's getting 30 put on him. He may not get 45 put on him. Which
now, I will say this. I do disagree with the Warriors that they would roll the Bulls 4-1.
I don't disagree with that.
I do. Because I think in that situation, eras matter.
I think
are y'all playing in the 90s or y'all playing now?
The KD Warriors or the Steph and Clay Warriors?
He was talking about. I think they were talking about the KD Warriors.
Nah, that's a 4-1 wash.
Nah,
that's a 4-1 wash
because it changes so much of what Steph's able to do if you're playing in the 90s.
Yeah,
not being able to hand check Steph, which is essentially just holding on to him.
Wait,
it wouldn't stop Steph. I'm not saying it would stop Steph.
Okay.
But it would change his game.
Let's break this down real quick. What did you say about Reggie Miller? What that was impressive the other day? What made him impressive?
That he did it off of one screen.
One screen. That's game planning. Not only do the Warriors have the proper system in place. If no matter what era, if the Warriors are playing their system, they have 3 elite shooters coming off multiple screens.
Yeah.
You can't defend that in any era.
Yeah, but
so
you can't
Reggie Miller was
Bulls
making his
either.
name as the one elite shooter. You have 2 elite shooters on that list, with KD actually being on that list too. KD's in the top 15 all time.
Yeah.
In that system. So imagine 3 Reggie Millers running around against a Bulls team. That's different.
But I don't think it's that. The other thing is too, the Warriors wouldn't be able to defend the Bulls on the other end. That's the part nobody thinks about. Klay Thompson going straight up against Jordan. Klay Thompson going straight up against Jordan. He can't stop Jordan. Steph Curry can't defend in today's era. If he actually is forced to play defense because you couldn't play zone defense in the 90s, he's going to get cooked.
KD can defend. Draymond can defend. And whoever
Draymond's the one player that I think could. And KD would be guarding Dennis Rodman, so his defense wouldn't matter.
No, you don't put Draymond on Dennis Rodman because Dennis Rodman's not an offensive threat. You put your best defenders. I would put Draymond on Scottie.
KD would be on Dennis Rodman.
I would put Draymond on Scottie.
Draymond on Scottie, okay.
I put Draymond on Scottie. I put someone else on Dennis Rodman. If Dennis Rodman beats me,
KD's gonna be on Dennis Rodman, not Draymond.
There's no need for him to be on Dennis Rodman.
But
there's no need for him to stick Dennis.
But what I'm saying is that's how the 90s was.
I'll be honest with you. I put KD on Mike.
Oh, that'd be bad.
I'm not saying that he's gonna stop him.
KD don't weigh enough.
He don't weigh enough.
He don't weigh enough.
But guess what?
Hey, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan would be. Hey, it don't matter.
7-1.
Hey, it don't matter. Hey, how many 7-1s do we saw Mike make look dumb though?
He made a lot of unathletic 7-1 niggas look dumb.
Hey.
Like, let's be real. Like, come on, dog. Come on, dog.
Even that. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mount Mutombo wasn't unathletic. Hakeem wasn't unathletic.
Mike had nothing for Hakeem.
Mike had buckets for Hakeem. What you
Mike
mean?
had nothing for Hakeem. The Bulls had nothing for Hakeem. If the Bulls had to play the Houston Rockets in the finals, the Houston Rockets would have won.
Cap.
They had nothing for Hakeem. There's nothing you could do against Hakeem.
It would have made 7. It would have went to game 7. It'd have been Mike's first game 7.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of old heads that would disagree with you because guess what? Prime Hakeem.
I ain't worried about old heads.
I'm talking about people that was there.
Old heads think 90s basketball was real basketball.
Dog,
I'm sorry.
90s basketball was real basketball.
Hey, that's assault. A lot of that is assault. Come on now.
Hey. What I'm saying is this.
Come on now.
What I'm saying is this. And there's a clip that they even say it. Mike says it himself. They had nothing for Hakeem. If they had to play them, it would have been a really, really tough thing. Now, I'm not saying that they would have lost at both chips, but I guarantee you Hakeem gets one. Hakeem is going to get one. Who is sticking him? Shaq couldn't stick him.
Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman shut Hakeem down.
Dennis Rodman shut Hakeem down.
I'll bet you you look it up and you find the game.
Let's find it. I want to see this.
I wish we could show clips on here.
We can.
I wish we could show clips on here.
Fair use. Yes, we can. We can show clips.
Nah, they'll demonetize the video though.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, you're right. Really? Oh, that's so. But we're talking and breaking down the thing.
Yeah, they'll demonetize the video though.
YouTube, you got to be better. You got to be better, YouTube. Come on now. Come on. Hakeem. All right, so Dennis Rodman is stopping Hakeem. Hakeem Olajuwon averaged 29.9, 11.3 rebounds, and 2.8 blocks in 24 games versus Dennis Rodman.
Hey, the crazier stat though. Hey, here go the crazier stat. Rodman averaged 14 rebounds versus this man.
Hey, but when you do that, when that's all you do, I need you to be in double digits. He was the lead rebounder, but this man was getting cooked. 25.
Yeah, but the thing is, dog. But the thing is,
25 and 11. You could get them extra 3 rebounds, Dennis. That's okay. Guess what? Spin move, weave. That's what it is.
Pat.
Hey, Hakeem would have cooked my man in the finals.
Hey,
Dennis,
no.
oh please! I love
Hey.
Dennis. Dennis is
Hey.
one of the greatest rebounders in the game. One of the best.
Dennis is also one of the best
game.
defenders in the game.
But he would have got cooked.
He might have got cooked. It might have been a little.
So here's what I want you to understand.
This the thing though. But this is the thing though. Kenny Smith. Hey, Kenny Smith ain't cooking Ron Harper.
Dog. Hold on. Wait. Let me ask you this: is Hakeem is that much bigger than KD?
No, they're the same size.
My man is cooking him.
No, yeah, KD's cooking.
Hey, KD's cooking that team, dog. What is we talking about?
KD's cooking Dennis.
Oh, God. I gotta go. Hey, listen, I'm sorry. I have to. I got about 2 minutes, and I gotta run. I got 5 minutes. I gotta run.
Hey, I'll say this. Looking at that final series, I love it. We always end up just talking old basketball. Looking at that final series, right?
You said Dennis Rodman would have stuck KD.
Hey,
boy!
Oh, I didn't say that.
Chicken, if I ever saw it, man. Listen,
I didn't say that.
Get the breakfast sandwiches ready. That man is done.
This the thing though. That team as a whole, like Orlando had nobody that could guard Clyde Drexler. They had nobody that could guard Clyde Drexler. Like that's why they got now Hakeem was cooking Shaq. But the reason like Hakeem can go off and have great games if somebody can slow down Clyde. Like, don't nobody talk about Clyde the Glide in the finals. Don't nobody talk about what the rest of the team, Robert Horry going off for 14. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody talk about that. Like, Ron Harper could absolutely stick with Kenny Smith. Yeah, Kenny Smith as an announcer gets a lot of credit, and his career is lauded higher because of that. Go look at what Kenny.
But Steph is a better defender than Kenny Smith, and so where's the correlation here? Like, we look at the Houston Rockets and how they would have gave the Bulls fits.
Steph is a better defender
than Kenny Smith. He absolutely is.
No,
he absolutely is.
No,
I'll go look it up. But here's the problem, though. We look at the Houston Rockets, and we talked about one player. They have nothing. They have with Hakeem. Well, guess what? The Warriors of this generation, with their offensive system, I don't care what you do on defense, has 3 all-time great scorers, with Clay being on the lesser end of it. You also forget, and most of people forget, that in the 90s, you didn't stick people 40 feet out. If they want to take that shot, you let them.
Yeah, but you'd adjust. You telling me in 7 games the Bulls wouldn't adjust defensively once?
And they could, but that's going to make it really hard for you on the other end.
Yeah, it's one-on-one. They're going to be able to score. I'm not saying the Warriors are going to come out and they just going to get shut down. Pat,
for the record, am I a Bulls fan? Am I a Mike fan?
No, you are. I'm not. No, you are. I'm not saying that the Warriors are going to come out and just get shut down. What I'm saying is that if you got to play one-on-one, what makes the Warriors great defensively? They team defense. They can hide
team
Steph.
Defense and their rotation.
But what makes them do that back then? It's Clay one-on-one with Jordan. And and listen, that toll on one end can absolutely affect you on the other. By the way, it's also Jordan guarding Clay one-on-one. We're talking about an all-time great defender versus an all-time great shooter, but in that system, I can defend you one-on-one.
The problem is a good offense has been proven to be able to beat a really good defense. And the one thing that we keep forgetting is the Bulls of the 90s were a really good defensive team that could score with one guy who was just outrageous. The Warriors are a decent defensive team with 3 people who can just shoot you out the gym.
Yeah, but the finals will prove to you that the team that has the better defense is the team that normally comes out and wins.
The team that can stay, even if we played a half-court set.
Like in the Cleveland series, when everybody was scoring, the Cavs were the better defensive team.
Absolutely. I give you that. But they also had to have all-time great finals performances to win. And that was before KD got there.
Who's they two? I'm trying to remember. Who would Jordan actually? Jordan's probably not guarding Clay.
Like you
they
have
two?
to have
Steph?
you have to put it into perspective. Like the Warriors that lost 3-1 are not the Warriors that have KD. And a lot of times when we have these conversations, people are comparing the Warriors that lost 3-1 to the Bulls, and it's like, yo, that Warriors team has a shot in the finals. That team is not going to win by no stretch of the imagination. But the Warriors with KD, they're probably the favorites rolling into that matchup at any era.
Hey, they probably the favorites. I still don't think they win.
It is what it is.
It's just too much.
And that's not to say that Jordan wouldn't go off of 50. I'm just saying that KD would go off of 50 too, and that negates that.
Well, my thing with that would be, even if you put Scotty on him, even if you put whoever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
KD's getting 30 points.
KD's gonna get his 30. It's about how tough you make his 30.
They lost to Toronto. Injured.
When KD was hurt. Yeah, KD was
hurt.
KD
came in for 11 minutes and scored 11 points. Stop commenting. How about that? Like, don't tell me to mute myself. Stop commenting. It's stupid. like, oh God. This is one of those things where I absolutely would go toe-to-toe with the best of them in this one, because it's one of those things where you can't base it off emotions. Emotionally, I would want the Bulls to win. But based off facts, that Warriors team that won those 2 chips is probably the best team that have ever been constructed.
All facts. And this is the difference. What I'm saying is back then. I'm not even today. I would give the Warriors the nod. Today, in today's NBA, I would give the Warriors the nod, because the Bulls aren't allowed to play defense.
4-0.
The Bulls aren't allowed.
We passed it to Javon Williams.
No, today I would give you 4-0 because the Bulls aren't, or not 4-0. I'm not giving you that. Today I would say the Warriors would win in 7. Because the Bulls aren't allowed to play defense, and the Bulls don't have enough shooters to play in today's NBA. There's not enough shoot. Must be talking about the shooters on that team, and I'd be like, nah, I don't. There's not enough shooters on that team to play in today's NBA.
There's not enough shooters on that team, period, for them to match up.
Yeah, but in the 90s, where the rules are completely different, where you have to play straight up, I don't think there's. I think it might go 7,
then
but I don't think there's a way the Bulls win.
Because late 90s, you could play zone and you could hand check.
Yeah, late 90s, you could play zone.
So 98 through 2004, you could hand check and play zone.
Did they bring that in 98? No, I thought that was after that.
That's what makes Kobe's career so interesting, because Mike didn't have to deal with that. Kobe in his prime had to deal with hand checking and zone.
Rage and talk about Kukoc.
You can't do it in 98. So what was it, 99? Because you absolutely could play zone at the end of the end of the 90s.
Hey, and that's the real question. What does Steve Kerr do? Does he coach or does he play? Hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Hey, he definitely brought up Boucher. Yeah, no, dog. No, yeah, no. We talk about 3 of the all-time greatest shooters of all time, and you talking about Boucher. Like, come on, dog, relax.
That's a good question. When was zoning allowed?
I think zone came in the 2000s, bro, because Mike didn't want to be a part of it.
Again, that's also why when you look at it, hand checking allowed with zoning, shooting percentages goes down for every shooting guard in the league dramatically.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, Mike wasn't shooting that much, so.
Mike is the mid-range king. What are we talking about?
Yeah, but it's not going to stop his mid-range. Why would it stop his mid-range?
Yes, it is, because you can hand check and you can zone.
Fam, Mike was getting hand checked his whole career. And essentially, at the points where Mike was running in, Washington plays, they was playing zone. It wasn't really zone. It was really just everybody run the mic and put your hands up. But
they was running a double, triple. That's what it was.
Hey, they was attacking Mike in the middle. It's nothing, you know what I'm saying? I look at that differently. I think the 90s would change everything about the Warriors. I think the 90s would change everything about the Warriors.
Oh, 2001 they changed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think Mike was a part of, because Mike spoke out against it. He said it's gonna kill your superstars. He was like, that's gonna kill. Which he was wrong. But
if teams were able to play zone defenses, I never would have had the career I had. That's a quote from Michael Jordan.
Yeah, no, he spoke out against it. Honestly,
so here's what I want to say. This,
but this the interesting thing. But this the interesting thing. And then Kobe had the career he had. So
Kobe had the career.
So technically, Mike, you was wrong about that as well.
I want you all to understand this. Why do you play zone?
To hide bad defenders. To help hide bad defenders.
So 1-on-1, you mean to tell me that every one of the Bulls matches up against every one of the Golden State Warriors with KD?
No, I said they don't. But
so
a major part of your team, which is Klay Thompson, is guarded by one of the greatest defenders in history.
Mm-hmm. Who's sticking KD?
Nobody. Nobody's sticking KD now, though.
No. Just roll through it with me. Who sticks KD? Just put a name up there. Just put a name up there.
Who would it be? KD would be the 5, so it would have been, I don't know, one of them big Stacey King. He wasn't starting, but it would have been.
Who helps Stacey stick KD? Someone has to drop down to help when KD makes his move. Dennis. Who is Dennis sticking? Draymond. Where's Dennis going? Where's Draymond rolling to? The basket. Guess what? That's a layup.
Yeah, but again,
right block. Boom. KD's on the block. Who comes to help when he's on the block?
You don't help.
You should.
Back then they wouldn't have helped.
Hey, you should.
It would have been straight up. KD would have got 50.
Hey, that means that he would have got 50.
He would have got 50.
On the flip side, who sticks Mike? Nobody sticks Mike. How much does he score? 50. Guess what? Looks like I got two people that cancel each other out now. Now it's based off of who can play the best defense and who can score. Whose supporting cast is better? The Warriors supporting cast is better.
Yeah, but
I didn't say Mike was good. I didn't say Mike wasn't good. I didn't say Mike wasn't. I said the supporting cast for KD is better. They win that game.
But the Bulls' defense is better.
Maybe the Bulls had never stuck a Golden State Warriors team. They had never played 3 Reggie Millers. They have never done it. So, and Reggie Miller still would cook the Bulls. Look it up. Reggie was getting off.
Reggie had some games versus the Bulls.
So why is it that Reggie can get off and Reggie is like scrawny as that thing right there, right? But all of a sudden Klay and Steph can't get off.
Because Klay is guarded by one of the greatest defenders of all time.
So Reggie Miller wasn't guarded by some of the best defenders of all time, but he cooked off one screen? But I'm supposed to think that Klay and Steph off a double screen and they're the greatest offensive players in the league. At least
ain't gonna cook. Jordan?
Come on, dog. Y'all crazy.
Did he cook Michael Jordan?
He absolutely cooked Michael Jordan at times.
He had one game that everybody lauds him for.
What was his average against the Bulls? He averaged over 20 points a game over the Bulls. You can look it up. It don't matter if it was just Jordan or not. He averaged a decent amount against the Bulls. So I'm supposed to believe 3 of the greatest players to have ever touched the basketball is going to lose to just one of the greatest or just the greatest player to play basketball?
19-3-2. Well, you also don't give Scotty no credit.
I mean, Scotty don't give himself some credit.
You don't give Scotty no credit. Oh, Scotty give himself a lot of credit. You just don't like it. Hey, Scotty said, I'm trying to be remembered as greatest player of all time.
There goes them Gucci flip-flops. That's all I'm saying. Matter of fact, Warriors had back then 3 shooters: Hardaway, Mitch, and Mullen. All right, I want you to look at this right now. Chris Mullen versus KD. Tim Hardaway Jr. versus Steph. Tim Hardaway versus Steph. There's no way in the world you pick that Golden State Warriors team back there and say, well, look at what they did against that Golden State Warriors. And you compare it to this when you say that they got a chance.
Yeah.
Shut up.
But I'm also looking at.
I'm not talking about you at this point. I'm just going at everybody. Because at this point, you're not making sense.
I'm also looking at what wins more times than not. The best defense does. And the Bulls played the best defense versus the best players in the league. And they matched up well against them.
Yeah, you're right. The best defense normally wins. Sometimes.
I mean, more times than
you want to know why that the best defense normally won? Just guess.
Why the best defense?
Players weren't as developed as they are now.
Even now, the best defense wins.
But players are more developed than they are now, so the playing field is even.
Yeah, but
offensively, I can do
even
more.
Now,
so
the best
defensively,
defensive teams usually win a championship.
Yeah, but offensively, they're more capable.
They are more capable.
Which means that at that point,
but
if
what
I'm
won?
more capable
What won Milwaukee?
offensively,
What won Milwaukee the NBA Finals last year?
Chris Paul not having a good game because he absolutely was open a lot of those times.
And Drew Holiday clamping down Devin Booker and
Drew
ripping
Holiday
him up.
definitely made some.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but here's the thing: how many
defense.
points did Giannis average? How many points did Chris Middleton average? Offensively, they still have to score, and they did it at a high clip.
Score.
So, like, good defense works, but the players today are more developed and offensively skilled. You can't negate that. And I'm just not one of those people that's going to sit there and just be emotionally tied to the fact that, oh, it's Michael Jordan. I really don't.
None of my argument was emotional. My argument is that the
no, it's not
Bulls
just but like people from our generation, they get emotionally tied to certain things. It's like it's okay to sit there and say that the game has gotten better. The greats in the game want the game to get better. They want people to be better than them. That moves the game forward. You're talking about
down to the last 15 minutes here, man. Tom Brady is officially retired.
Oh, I'm gonna give you that to talk about as I go take these kids to school. Holla at you.
All right, my boy. I'll let you, man. Stay safe out there. Tom Brady is officially retired. Crazy. The most dominant football player that we've seen. He put out this statement. I've done a lot of reflecting the past week and have asked myself difficult questions. And I'm so proud of what we have achieved. My teammates, coaches, fellow competitors, and fans deserve 100% of me. But right now, it's best that I leave the field of play to the next generation of dedicated and committed athletes. To my Bucks teammates the past 2 years, I love you guys, and I have loved going to battle with you. You have dug so deep to challenge yourself, and it inspired me to wake up every day and give you my best. I am always here for you guys, and I want to see you continue to push yourselves to be your best. I couldn't be happier with what we accomplished together. And that's how Brady goes out on his own terms. I like it. Looking back on Tom Brady's career, to me, there's no question that he is the football GOAT. See, in football, to me, there's a different argument to be had there. There's a different argument to be had there. Because the game hasn't changed crazy, like super tremendous. If more, I'll say that it's changed more for the offensive side of the ball, but the objectives are still the same. And how you accomplish those objectives, for the most part, is still the same. The quarterbacks have just gotten better. The systems have gotten better. Tom Brady, to me, is the man that was held above all of that. You can take out, you can put scandals against them, put the cheating scandals, put all whatever. He won. And if you think these other teams weren't doing the same things, you are absolutely mistaken. He won. To me, looking back on a career like his, looking back on what he accomplished in this league on a consistent basis, how I mean, there's some people that don't get to the mountaintop once. Tom Brady got there 11 times. Right? 10 times? To be able to accomplish that consistently, that consistent dominance. It shows not only just the skill on the field, but also the mental fortitude that he had. He's such like that is to do that in the NFL, going through all of the stuff that was put against them and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, he's the unquestioned GOAT. And that will always be to me. That will always be to me. He's the unquestioned GOAT. He's done more. And he won. That's a GOAT. It's about winning. I understand, like, in the modern generation, like, it's not about winning. I understand that in the modern generation, it's about just, oh, what was he able to do on the field? Could he do this? Could he do that? Could he get this done? Could he get that done? Nah. It's about winning. Did you get that ring? Did you get that jewelry? Did you finish that? That's what you play for. That's what you play for. So all credit goes to Tom Brady, man. It was an honor watching your career. It was a pleasure watching your career. Even when you were putting up 50 burgers on the Bears, I had to, look at how how well you played against us when you juked Brian Urlacher out of his socks. Still one of the most wild things. There's not many players that come with that kind of mindset. And I don't think there are any left. I think we just lost the last player that has that kind of mindset. There was Jordan, Kobe, Tom Brady, where winning was everything. We're getting the next ring was everything. Where we're fighting to get to that next level was everything. We haven't seen a lot of those guys. And I'd count it as a blessing to say in my life I've gotten to see all three. That's dope. That's dope. You don't see a lot of those guys. So, TB12, man, enjoy retirement, my brother. It's kind of sad, dog. Like, I wanted him to come back for one more. But enjoy retirement. The GOAT is gone. Who's now the face of football? Is it Pat Mahomes? Does Joey B move into that role real quick now that he's in the Super Bowl? Who's now the face of football? Who becomes that next level player? Who becomes that, oh my God, Pat Mahomes, Burrow, Allen? Does Russell Wilson leaving teams if he does leave Seattle? Is it now just Aaron Rodgers? Who becomes that next one that is lauded above all others? Hey, Tom, does it become Justin Fields? You never know. You know what's crazy? If the Bears win and Justin is what he was advertised as, it will be. The NFL has been clamoring for a Bears team where they could put somebody up. It will be Justin. That's crazy to say. But if this next regime gets the offense in order, if this next regime gets the offense moving in the right direction, and Justin Fields becomes what we've hoped he becomes, it would absolutely be Justin Fields as the next face of the NFL. Because the Bears have never had that. It's like Kidd was talking about, storylines. Storylines. He's a better storyline than Pat Mahomes is. He's a better storyline than Lamar Jackson is. He's a better storyline than, although name whatever the player. You know what I'm saying? He just is. If this next regime can get Justin to the point that we hope they can get him to, he would absolutely become the face of the NFL. Cornelius, Lamar Jackson, or Patrick Mahomes, or can it be, or it can be Derrick Henry. Running back as the face is tough, especially when you're not getting the job done. Running back as the face is tough, especially when you're not getting the job done. What about a defender like T.J. Watt or Aaron Donald? Aaron wins a Super Bowl. It's was JJ ever the face? JJ was lauded up there for a long time. I don't know if he was ever the face of the NFL though. Brady's held that title for so long, dog. He's held that title for so long. Like, when you think football, you think Tom Brady. And even if Aaron Donald does win the Super Bowl and stuff like that, like, face of the league, I don't see a defensive player being the face just because of how it's going to be a quarterback. The quarterback is always going to be the face of the league. If Burrow wins the Super Bowl, he might. If Burrow wins the Super Bowl, he's got a shot at it, man. Hey, I want to let y'all know, man, I appreciate y'all for pulling up as always. Today's show, we had topics. We didn't hit none of them. I think we hit the first one. Sometimes, man, we just be talking on this show, and I think that's what makes it an entertaining show, where we just had in moments where we break down stuff that's on our mind or stuff we thinking. We hope y'all enjoy the show as always, man. We'll be live for Bulls versus Orlando tonight. What time is that game at? Is that a 6:00 tip, or are we here in Chicago? I think we're here in Chicago, so that might be a 7:00 tip on that one. I'll be live at 7 p.m. tonight, Bulls versus Orlando, and we'll be live for Bulls and Bulls Post. So tune in with that as well. Anything else we got going on? Check out the new single. Got that going. Got a couple new singles out going on SoundCloud right now. Check those out. Appreciate the love on that. I don't think there's anything else that I got going on, man. I think that should be good for the day. We'll have stuff dropping throughout the day, man. Have a ton of content coming your way as always, man. Might probably do a pre-recorded video again today. Just sit down and break down some stuff. Don't know what it's gonna be about yet, but we're gonna get some content out there for you, baby. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with your boy. As always, man. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Hey, yo, Chicago. Hey, world. Stop playing with your boy. Bulls winning that thing in 7. I don't care what P.kidd say. Y'all stay safe out there, man. Peace.